Chapter 80. Saint Laurent College elder with white hair and beard was looking at the beautiful Xiao Ninger in front of him. This elder is the vice principal of Saint Laurent College, Yisheng. Xiao Ninger, are you sure you want to enter the heavenly sacred border? Yisheng slightly frowned and said, Do you know that entering the heavenly sacred border has a certain degree of danger? In the history of our Saint Laurent College, there were a few students who had entered the heavenly sacred border and had major problems with their souls. Principal, do I have the qualifications to enter the heavenly sacred border? Xiao Ninger raised her head, looked at Yisheng, and asked. A trace of determination flashed across her eyes. Of course. Your talent is indeed sufficient. Entering the heavenly sacred border before advancing to silver rank does indeed have great benefits. Yi Sheng nodded his head. It has been many years since he saw such an outstanding student with such talent. I'm sure I want to enter the heavenly sacred border. Xiao Ninger heavily nodded her head. Her eyes had an unprecedented determination. What about your father? Did he also agree with your actions? Yes. Xiao Ninger nodded her head. In fact, she came here without her family knowing. Good. Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. Yi Sheng nodded his head. Together with the other teachers, they brought Xiao Ninger towards a very grand building at the back of Saint Laurent College. The few teachers of Saint Laurent College looked at each other. Truth be told, they admired Xiao Ninger's courage in their hearts. She actually had the courage to enter the heavenly sacred border. The heavenly sacred border is a very mysterious place. Only the most outstanding geniuses of Saint Laurent College can enter. Many of the geniuses that entered had some problems with their soul force. Some came out with nothing. Only a few people managed to pass through the heavenly sacred border. Of course, those that passed through the heavenly sacred border all obtained an extremely powerful inheritance and became a powerful expert, at least a black gold, rank demon spiritualist. There's also Yemo, who even became a legend, rank demon spiritualist. The heavenly sacred border is a legend. Once one passes through the test of the heavenly sacred border, that person will become the focus of the entire Glory City. This kind of genius will receive the protection of the City Lord's Mansion. The City Lord's Mansion will ensure the safety of this genius. No one will disturb this genius's training. At the same time, they also have a lot of authority. The reason why Glory City is able to stand tall under the threat of demon beasts is related to the number of geniuses in Glory City. It's the rise of these geniuses that ensured the safety of Glory City. Therefore, the protection of Glory City's geniuses is very thorough and complete. Under the guidance of Yi Sheng and the rest, Xiao Ninger walked towards the magnificent building far away. She lowered her head. Her eyes flashed with a trace of contemplation. She wondered how Nye Li is doing right now. I will continue to chase after your footsteps and fight alongside you. One day you will notice me, Xiao Ninger murmured. Her face flashed with a touch of red. She thought of the various encounters she had with Nye Li. Unknowingly, Nye Li's figure could no longer be erased from her heart. The reason why Xiao Ninger is working so hard is mostly to get Nye Li's attention. Xiao Ninger raised her head and strode forward. A few days later, Glory City's Northern Martial Arena. The Northern Martial Arena is a field with a circumference of a few thousand meters. It's surrounded by high stands that can accommodate tens of thousands of spectators. There would often be competitions held here. Due to Glory City's culture of martial arts, there are a lot of residents that come here to spectate. Many of them would participate in the betting for various kinds of battles. At this moment, the members of the various families have already sat in different places in the arena. The Tensei family's members are sitting in a corner in the north, not far from the sacred family's position. In the past, no one would care about a declining family like the Tensei family. But now, no family would ignore the Tensei family. What made people jealous and envious is that even Director Yang Xian of the Association of Alchemists has also come. She even brought along 3 elders of the Association of Alchemists. These people are sitting beside the Tensei family, chatting and laughing with the Tensei family's members. This caused their hearts to be filled with jealousy. People like Yang Xian and the elders of the Association of Alchemists, even if they desperately tried to curry favor with them, they might not even bother with them. However, when facing the Tensei family's members, Yang Xian's attitude is very polite. Little brother Nieli, that pot of yours almost caused the death of big sister Yang. How are you going to apologize to big sister? Yang Xian charmingly looked at Nieli and said, in fact, the situation isn't that serious. That day, the person who tried to assassinate her was dealt with by the guards beside her. There wasn't any danger at all. However, in front of Nieli, she purposely made it sound serious. Nieli, of course, knows what Yang Xian is thinking. However, he still lightly smiled and said, for this matter, I owe big sister Yang a favor. It's good that you know. Yang Xian smiled, slightly stretching her soft waist. Why hasn't this genius tournament started yet? I'm getting a little bored. Little brother Nya Li is also going up? In that case, I'll definitely follow. Oh. In the distance, the young descendants of the other clans saw the curvaceous and charming Yang Xian. Each and every one of them widened their eyes and stared intently. When they saw the amazing curves of Yang Xian's chest when she stretched out, they couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Some people even unconsciously began to fantasize in their minds. Although Yang Xian's beauty is unparalleled, due to Yang Xian's identity, no one dared to hit on her. Are you kidding? She's a super existence that can decide the fate of a family with just a word. Who dares to be rash? Towards those people's blazing gazes, Yang Xian seems to be used to it. She turned a blind eye to it, and her gaze would occasionally fall onto Nya Li's body. Just when Nya Li and Yang Xian were chatting, a few people from the sacred family's side walked over. The one leading them is the sacred family's deacon, Shinming. Director Yang, long time no see. I never thought that Director Yang would actually be interested in the Tournament of Geniuses. Shen Ming said, lightly smiling. His eyes flashed with fear. He never thought that the Tensei family would be so capable to be able to call the director and 3 elders of the Association of Alchemists over. Although the Sacred Family is one of the 3 major families, they still have a deep fear when facing a super force like the Association of Alchemists. Not to mention, the Sacred Family has to purchase a large amount of elixirs from the Association of Alchemists every year. If the Association of Alchemists were to reduce the Sacred Family's share, the Sacred Family would be in a difficult situation. I'm not interested in this tournament. I'm only here to see my little brother Nieli. Who knows? I might even follow up on a few rounds. I heard that this year the Sacred Family is the banker? Yang Xian said, lightly smiling. Little brother Nieli? Shen Ming's gaze swept across Nya Li's face. In his heart, he was secretly guessing what is the relationship between Nya Li and Yang Xian. That's right. This year, our Sacred Family is indeed the banker. Director Yang Xian is also interested in playing? Shen Ming's expression slightly stiffened. Who doesn't know that the Association of Alchemists is overflowing with wealth? Even the Sacred Family can't afford to play with them. I'm just casually playing. I'm only betting on my little brother Nieli, Deacon Shin. You don't have to worry about it. Haha. Yang Xian said, lightly smiling. Nya Li's gaze looked toward Shin Ming and fell onto Shen Fei, who was standing beside Shin Ming. He saw Shen Fei's snake-like eyes looking at him. The hatred of stealing his wife. Shen Fei now hates Nya Li to death. If it wasn't for Nya Li having the support of Yang Xian, he would have gone up and violently beat up Nya Li. Haha, young Master Shen, long time no see. Nya Li completely ignored Shen Fei's venomous gaze and laughed, as if he didn't know about the conflict between the two of them. Chapter 81. Seeing Nya Li's expression, Yang Xian understood something. There should be some conflict between Nya Li and Shin Fei. The reason why Niali called her over is very obvious. It's to confront the sacred family. Even if she knows that it will offend the sacred family, Yang Xian still stood by Niali's side without any hesitation. She can easily make her choice. Humph, Shen Fei coldly snorted, ignoring Niali. I'll let you be arrogant for a while more. Wait till the tournament. See how I'll play you to death. Haha, young Master Shen is so friendly. Niali laughed heartily and said, Ning Er often tells me about you. She says that young Master Shen is a generous person. Hearing Niali mentioning Xiao Ninger, Shen Fei was simply about to explode from anger. Niali is simply touching his sore spot. He can even feel that there's a green hat on his head. Seeing Shen Fei's face turning red, Niali didn't seem to notice and continued. Recently, Ninger's cultivation has been advancing by leaps and bounds. She's about to step into silver rank soon. After I gave her a massage, her cold illness is almost healed. Speaking of which, young Master Shin still has to thank me. Massage hearing Niali's words, Shen Fei's mind was suddenly filled with a charming scene. He almost vomited blood. One must know that, until now, Xiao Ninger hasn't even let him touch her hand. The one with the surname Nia, you're pissing me off. I'll kill you. Shen Fei could no longer hold it in and opened his eyes wide. As a direct descendant of the sacred family, since when did he, who is proud and arrogant, suffer such humiliation? Shen Fei charged out and threw a punch towards Niali. Right at this moment, Yang Xian's brows raised as she stood between the two of them, even though she clearly knew that Niali was intentionally provoking Shen Fei, and she laughed bitterly in her heart. Since Shen Fei wanted to look for trouble with Niali, she naturally couldn't sit idly by. Seeing that Niali was deliberately provoking Shen Fei and making Yang Xian stand up for him, Shen Ming was also slightly sullen. He calmly pulled Shen Fei back. Young Master Shen Fei, don't be rash. Shen Ming said with a smile, the genius battle is about to begin. I'm sure the Nye clan will also send people to participate. Wouldn't it be great to have a showdown then? There's no need to hurt our friendship here. Shen Fei's chest was heaving up and down, forcefully suppressing the anger in his heart. He fiercely stared at Niali. He can see that Niali has the protection of the Association of Alchemists. Therefore, he has nothing to fear. He can't do anything to Niali here. When the genius battle starts, he will ruthlessly teach Niali a lesson. If Niali doesn't participate, then he'll beat the Tensei family's people half to death. Let's see if Niali will participate or not. Shen Fei took a deep breath and stopped his steps. At this moment, Niali indifferently said, in the genius battle, there's no meaning if there's no wager. If there's no wager, then I won't participate. Oh, Shen Ming faintly looked at Niali and asked, I wonder what kind of wager this little brother wants. I'll be the banker for this genius battle. I'll accept any wager that the sacred family wants. If the wager is too small, then I won't play. Niali said casually. If you're the banker, do you have that much money? Shen Ming's brows twitched. Once the wager starts, both parties will have to take out the same amount of money. The winner will take everything. I'm worried that the Tensei family won't be able to afford it. With Big Sister Yang here, is the sacred family still worried that I won't be able to afford it? Niali lightly smiled. Yang Xian, who was by the side, could tell that the reason why Niali provoked Shen Fei and provoked the sacred family is to make the sacred family fall into his trap. Playing this wager with him seems like Niali has the confidence to win against Shen Fei. If little brother Niali can't afford it, I'm willing to pay for him. Yang Xian said, smiling. Since Director Yang has said so, then let's have some fun. The battle between young Master Shen Fei and this young Master Niali, I'd bet that young Master Shen Fei will win. I'll bet 50 million demon spirit coins. Do you dare to accept? Shen Ming's eyes narrowed, looking at Niali. Shen Fei also stared at Niali with an ominous light in his eyes. 50 million demon spirit coins? Nya Li suddenly widened his eyes. What scared? Xin Fei snorted. A bet of 50 million demon spirit coins. Isn't that enough to scare you silly? I say, 50 million demon spirit coins, and you still have the nerve to play? Such a big sacred family, and you only bet this little. Nya Li looked at Yang Xen, puzzled. Big sister Yang, is the sacred family that poor? Only 50 million demon spirit coins. Is it for kids to buy sweets? Seeing Nya Li's expression, Yang Xen laughed in her heart. Nya Li, this kid is simply full of bad ideas, trying to bait the sacred family. She shook her head and said in a serious tone, Little brother Nya Li, 50 million demon spirit coins is already a lot for these families. It can't be so shabby. What's the point of this? Nya Li took out a handful of demon crystal cards. There's a total of 20 to 30 of them. He casually threw them towards the stands, causing a commotion in the stands. Hundreds of thousands of demon spirit coins were casually thrown away. Nya Li appeared to be very arrogant. Since the sacred family is so poor, then I'll reluctantly play with you. If I win 50 million demon spirit coins, I'll give it to the audience. Since it's meaningless, I'll just treat it as throwing away some pocket money. Hearing Nya Li's words, Xin Ming and Xin Fei's faces turned green from anger. Nya Li is too arrogant. 50 million demon spirit coins isn't a small amount. Ordinary noble families wouldn't be able to take out so much money. Only a major family, like the sacred family, would be able to take out so much money. Of course, it can't be compared to the Association of Alchemists. Right now, the Association of Alchemists is too rich, even richer than the City Lord's mansion. 50 million, you actually have the nerve to say it. Nya Li sneered in disdain. Shen Ming took a deep breath. He's still very calm. For Nya Li to anger Shen Fei like this, he must have some confidence. It's fine to bet 50 million demon spirit coins for the first round, since there's a lot of chances to bet. Let's see Nya Li's strength first. For the first round, let's bet 50 million. Next, we'll have to see if young master is willing to continue playing with us. Shen Ming said, lightly smiling. Even if Nya Li has the confidence to win against Shen Fei, there's still 2 people from the sacred family behind him. Placing the bet on those 2 people is obviously more reliable. Sure, as long as the sacred family wants to play, then I'll accompany you to the end. I'll be the banker, no matter how much the sacred family bet. I'll accompany you to the end. Nya Li proudly said. Seeing Nya Li's arrogant expression, Shen Ming coldly laughed. However, his mouth still flattered. This young master of the Tensei family is really straightforward. I wonder who will be the judge for this bet? Shen Ming swept a glance at Yang Xan and said, I'm afraid that Director Yang won't be able to do it. This bet will be judged by all the families here, Nya Li said. Okay, Shan Ming also straightforwardly said. Under the influence of the sacred family and the Tensei family, the bet between the 2 quickly spread out. The entire arena was boiling with excitement. All the patriarchs of the various families were invited to be the witnesses of this competition. What's wrong with the Tensei family? They're actually betting with the sacred family? You don't know, the Tensei family has the backing of the Association of Alchemists. They're very rich and seem to be going against the sacred family. Could this be a struggle between the 2 giants of the Association of Alchemists and the sacred family? Who knows? The various patriarchs quietly discussed. Chapter 82. Everyone's attention shifted away from the geniuses of the various families and focused on the battle between the sacred family and the Heavenly Marks family. Many of the patriarchs participating in the tournament had the mood to watch a good show. I heard that the Tensei family and the sacred family have a bet of 50 million demon spirit coins. 50 million demon spirit coins. Only the sacred family and the Association of Alchemists can afford to play with it. A small Tensei family would definitely not dare to play with it. Without the support of the Association of Alchemists, the Tensei family probably wouldn't dare to play with it. The The bet between the two great families caused the entire arena to boil with excitement. Aside from the bet with Nieli, the sacred family also opened a bet. Betting on Nieli winning is 1. 5. Betting on Shinfei winning is 1. 3. Betting on Shinfei defeating Nieli in one move is 1. 9. Nieli took a look. In this bet, betting on Nieli defeating Shinfei in one move has the highest odds of 111. It's a pity that a bet can only reach a maximum of 6 million demon spirit coins. If there's no upper limit, the sacred family would lose so much that they'll have to take off their pants. Nieli secretly thought to himself, I'll play with you guys for the first round. Then I'll play with you guys for the next round. Nieli got Niahai and Bunch to secretly send people to place their bets, spread them out, and not attract too much attention. They placed around 30 million demon spirit coins on Nieli. A portion of it is betting on Nieli defeating Shinfei within 20 moves. The odds are 1-3. Under the cheers of countless experts in the audience, both sides prepared to enter the arena. The Tensei families Niahai, Nia-en, and Bunch all had excited expressions on their faces. Yang Xan looked at Nieli. The corner of her mouth revealed a faint smile. She has a feeling that Shenfei will definitely lose miserably. Shenming and Bunch returned to the sacred family's spectator stand. He looked at Shenfei and said, the tournament doesn't allow the use of armors and the like, but you can use elixirs. Bring 2 demon spirit strengthening pills with you in case of emergency. Demon spirit strengthening pills are produced by the Association of Alchemists. They're specially provided to the major families. Normally, they'll only use it when fighting with demon beasts. Who would use such expensive elixirs in this tournament? However, to bet 50 million demon spirit coins with Nieli, a demon spirit strengthening pill, is only slightly more than 1 million demon spirit coins. It's definitely worth it. The demon spirit strengthening pill can greatly increase the power of the demon spirit. However, there is a certain side effect. It will cause permanent damage to the demon spirit, but it won't cause much harm to the cultivator. This is nothing to the sacred family. Even if Shen Fei's demon spirit is crippled, the sacred family can immediately give Shen Fei a stronger demon spirit. You must defeat Nieli within 20 moves. That way, we will to earn. Shen looked at Shen Fei and said, he actually wants to defeat him after 20 moves? That's really letting him off easy. Shen Fei's eyes flashed with a trace of darkness. Young Master Shen Fei, don't underestimate your opponent. Shen Ming reminded Shen Fei. I understand. Shen Fei nodded his head. Although he said so, he still had some disdain in his heart. Every family has finished placing their bets. The majority of the people bet on Shen Fei to win. Many of them bet that Shen Fei will defeat Nieli within 20 moves. However, there are also quite a number of people who bet on Nieli to win. After all, the Association of Alchemists won't casually give 50 million to the sacred family. Seeing Nieli and Shen Fei walking down the stage, the entire arena was boiling. Everyone was cheering. Young Master Shen Fei, defeat the Tensei family's Nieli. Young Master Shen Fei, do your best. Nieli, do your best. Defeat the sacred family. You can do it. The cheers in the arena were getting louder and louder. If Shen Fei defeats Nieli, they'll have money to earn. Under everyone's attention, Nieli and Shen Fei stood face to face in the arena. I'll make you lose miserably. Furthermore, I won't let you off so easily. Shen Fei's face revealed a trace of a sinister smile. He wants to thoroughly play with Nieli, who let Nieli touch his woman. Young Master Shen's words are simply a great compliment to me. When I return, I'll pass it on to Ning-Er. Nieli still had a smile on his face. Seeing Nieli's expression, Shen Fei almost exploded with hatred. He forcefully suppressed his anger. He remembered Shinming's words, to deal with Nieli within 20 moves. Shen Fei furiously roared. His body was emitting a violent fighting intent. He raised his fist and threw it towards Nieli. Facing an opponent like Nieli, he's not prepared to use his demon spirit right from the start. Because once he uses his demon spirit, Nieli probably won't even be able to take one move. Not to mention winning against Nieli after 20 moves. Seeing this scene, the corner of Nieli's mouth slightly rose. If I knew that this idiot wouldn't summon his demon spirit, I would have gambled and killed him in one move. I'm really speechless. Originally, I wanted to put on an act and barely win against you. But now it seems like there's no need for that anymore. Nieli thought to himself. His soul realm suddenly fluctuated. Come out, Fang Panda! A huge Fang Panda appeared out of thin air and merged with Nieli. The muscles on his body became abnormally robust. Xin Fei waved his fist and charged towards Nieli. He thought that Nieli would first use his strength to exchange a few moves with him. He never thought that this despicable and shameless fellow, Nieli, would actually summon his demon spirit without any warning. Furthermore, the speed at which Nieli summoned his demon spirit was too fast. In an instant, he had already merged with his demon spirit. Shen Fei didn't even have time to react. Even if he wanted to summon his demon spirit, it was already too late. What's the point of summoning such a low-rank, fanged panda demon spirit? Shen Fei still has absolute confidence in his own strength. At most, after exchanging one move with Nieli's Fang Panda, he will immediately retreat and summon his demon spirit. There's actually an idiot who would merge with such a low-rank demon spirit, like the Fang Panda. Shen Fei completely disdains a trash demon spirit like the Fanged Panda. So what if you summon your demon spirit? A trash demon spirit like the Fang Panda is simply not my opponent. The corner of Shen Fei's mouth revealed a sinister smile. He wants to beat Nieli to the ground and ruthlessly stomp on him a few times to relieve the hatred in his heart. Seeing that Shen Fei's fist was about to land on his body, Nieli, who had merged with the Fang Panda, lightly smiled. He raised his huge palm and slapped towards Shen Fei's head. Boom! Nieli's Fanged Panda slapped Shen Fei's face. Shen Fei was heavily slapped onto the ground of the arena. The ground seemed to have cracked. After suffering this slap, Shen Fei definitely didn't feel good. What a heavy punch! Shen Fei never imagined that the strength of Nieli's punch would actually reach such a frightening degree. Although Nieli merged with the Fang Panda, this Fang Panda isn't an ordinary demon spirit. It's a fighter-type demon spirit with a god-level growth rate. It possesses a frightening strength that doesn't match with its appearance. Shen Fei was probably stunned by the slap. On one hand, Nieli is too cunning and shameless. He actually merged with a demon spirit and fought with him, who hasn't merged with a demon spirit. On the other hand, he never imagined that the low-rank Fang Panda that Nieli summoned would actually have such frightening strength. Shen Fei's ears were still ringing. His head had directly hit the ground. Although his martial Dao's cultivation is still not bad, suffering such a punch is still not good. His head felt like it was about to explode. The audience went into an uproar. Damn, young Master Shen wouldn't be throwing the match, right? He's actually not using a demon spirit to fight? That Nieli is too shameless. He actually summoned a demon spirit without any hesitation. Young Master Shen didn't even summon a demon spirit. This is too despicable. Those who bet on Shen Fei's victory all started to make a ruckus. In their view, if it wasn't for Shen Fei underestimating his opponent and Nieli suddenly summoning his demon spirit, Shen Fei wouldn't have suffered so easily. In the beginning of the fight, Shen Fei already suffered a loss. The people of the sacred family all exploded in anger. Despicable. The people of the Tensei family are too despicable. The people of the sacred family cursed. As for those who bet on Nieli, they, of course, stood on Nieli's side. Seeing Nieli slapping Shen Fei to the ground with a single slap, they were instantly happy. The fight just started and they already gained an advantage. It seems that Nia Li might not necessarily be able to win against Shen Fei. What's wrong with Nia Li doing this? There's nothing too deceitful in war. Young Master Shin is too stupid. He actually underestimated his opponent and didn't summon his demon spirit to fight. Can he blame others? On the side of the Tensei family, although Nia Hai, Nia En, and Bunch felt that Nia Li is a little shameless, they naturally won't show any weakness. You people of the sacred family have your eyes on the top of your head. As a demon spiritualist, he actually didn't summon his demon spirit and charged forward. If this isn't stupid, then what is? All kinds of voices rose and fell, causing a ruckus. However, after a short period of boiling, the entire arena turned silent. Only then did they react. Damn, what did I just see? It's actually a Fang Panda? Damn, there's actually someone using a lousy demon spirit like the Fang Panda? No matter how poor the Tensei family is, they wouldn't go so far as to give a junior a Fang Panda, right? What can the Fang Panda do? If it encounters other demon spirits, wouldn't it just be chopped into pieces? I reckon that young Master Shin will only be taken advantage of for a short while. Once he merges with his demon spirit, that kid will suffer. Those who bet on Shin Fei's victory were once again excited. Damn, he actually brought out a Fang Panda to embarrass himself. Kill this kid. Kill him. Nia Hai, Nia En, and bunch of Tensei families' eyes were wide open, especially Nia Hai and Nia En. During this period of time, they have purchased quite a lot of demon spirits. Many of them are much stronger than the Fang Panda. Why did Nia Li choose such a trash Fang Panda? This simply doesn't make sense. Not only the Tensei family, even Yang Xian was extremely surprised. Yang Xian clearly knows how much money Nia Li has right now. With Nia Li's wealth, isn't it easy for him to buy a top-grade demon spirit? But Nia Li actually chose a Fang Panda? This really makes people unable to understand. However, what they don't know is that the Fang Panda that Nia Li merged with isn't an ordinary Fang Panda. It's a super demon spirit that possesses a god-level growth rate. Although Nia Li had the upper hand in the first round, 90% of the people in the arena are not optimistic about Nia Li's chances. Each and every one of them widened their eyes, preparing to see how Shin Fei will summon his demon spirit and beat up Nia Li. Chapter 83. The entire arena was filled with all sorts of shouts and shouts. At this moment, in the center of the arena, Shen Fei, who was slapped by Nia Li, had his head cleared up a little. He struggled to get up. The current Shen Fei was simply furious. The reason why he didn't summon his demon spirit at the start of the battle was because of Elder Shen Ming's instructions. He wanted to win against Nia Li after 20 moves. Who knew that Nia Li would be so shameless and suddenly summon his demon spirit, after suffering such a loss for no reason? Shen Fei's lungs were about to explode from anger. He completely threw the task that Elder Shen Ming gave him to the 9 heavens. You asked for it. I'm going to kill you. Shen Fei furiously roared. His soul realm was constantly vibrating, and the aura of a demon spirit was emitted from his body. The demon spirit that Shen Fei integrated with is a powerful scarlet black tiger demon spirit. The scarlet black tiger is an extremely frightening demon beast. This demon spirit was personally hunted by the patriarch of the sacred family. It's a 1-star black gold rank demon beast. It's extremely powerful, enough to increase Shin Fei's strength by several folds. Young Master Shin is finally going to use his demon spirit. The audience in the arena boiled up. This aura, my god, too shocking. It's actually a scarlet black tiger. A scarlet black tiger against a Fang Panda? The result of this can be easily imagined. Almost everyone felt that the Fang Panda will definitely be killed in one move. The aura on Shen Fei's body became more and more turbulent. The aura of the scarlet black tiger shocked everyone. Nia Hai, Nia En, and Bunch couldn't sit still anymore. With Nia Li's Fang Panda demon spirit, it's impossible for it to fight against the scarlet black tiger. The difference in strength in this battle is too great. What should we do? Let Xiao Li admit defeat. The surrounding people that bet on Shen Fei's victory were constantly shouting, cheering for Shen Fei. In their view, Shen Fei will definitely win this battle. But then, all the voices came to an abrupt halt. At the crucial moment when Shen Fei was about to summon his demon spirit, Nieli took a few steps forward and slapped the back of Shen Fei's head. Bang! Shen Fei, who was about to merge with his demon spirit, was once again heavily slammed into the ground. A deep crater appeared on the ground. Shen Fei's merging process came to an abrupt halt. The berserk aura also stopped. At this moment, Shen Fei was simply too horrible to look at. His originally handsome face had been smacked flat and was tightly stuck to the ground. Nieli, the culprit behind all this, stretched his muscles and bones briskly. Dumbfounded, everyone was shocked. Nia Hai, Nia En, and Yang Xan were also dumbfounded. Despicable. Too shameless. Nia Hai, Nia En, and the others felt their faces burning. They almost had the urge to cover their faces and run away. Was this guy really from the Tensei family? This, the bloodline of the Tensei family, actually bred such a shameless descendant? Those who bet on Nia Li had their faces flushed red. Although Nia Li has the advantage, this seems a little inappropriate. In the past few years of the tournament, when have they ever seen such a showdown? In the previous tournament, the sparring was very particular about the spirit of martial arts. Most of the time, they would summon their demon spirit at the same time. The fight would also be limited to sparring. There has never been a situation like what Nieli did, summoning his demon spirit without any warning, and suddenly interrupting the summoning of his opponent's demon spirit. The sacred families sighed, almost jumped up. Tensei family, your family is too shameless. This kind of fight is unfair. The sacred family cursed at the Tensei family side. Nia Hai, Nia En, and the others felt that Nia Li's actions were a little shameless. However, facing the sacred family, they naturally wouldn't show any weakness. We didn't violate the rules of the tournament. It's not your place to criticize. Do I need you to teach my Tensei family how to do things? It's your sacred family's young master Shin that's too stupid. He's simply a pig. He's obviously a demon spiritualist, but he didn't merge with his demon spirit to fight. When summoning his demon spirit, he actually pointed the back of his head at his opponent. Who can you blame? At this moment, Yang Xian looked at Xinming and lightly said, Deacon Xinming, it can't be that the sacred family can't afford to lose, right? Although Nieli is indeed a little shameless, she still stands on Nieli's side. Looking at the situation on the stage, Yang Xian's smile became even more charming. Nieli, this little guy, is really hard to fathom. He looks so innocent and kind, but deep in his bones he's so cunning. He always has that lecherous look on his face, but when he's tempted he's so resolute and firm. Shen Ming's expression was gloomy. Nieli, this brat is too cunning. He can only admit defeat. Since Nieli promised to fight 3 rounds, losing this round doesn't matter. Knowing that Nieli's demon spirit is the Fanged Panda, Shen Ming sneered in his heart. Even if he loses this round, he'll win back everything he lost in the next round. Shen Ming took a glance at Yang Xian and said, Of course not. My sacred family can still afford to lose this little bit of money. At this moment, on the stage, Shen Fei, who was lying in the pit, was about to explode from anger. After suffering 2 slaps from Nieli, his face fiercely hit the ground. His nose was bleeding and his face was swollen. Earlier, when he wanted to merge with his demon spirit, he was slapped by Nieli, causing his soul realm to tremble, causing him to fail. Young Master Shen, are you all right? This is only a spar. Stop when the time is right. If you can't stand up, then just admit defeat. Nieli squatted beside Shen Fei and said with a bit of bad intentions, Admit defeat? Once he admits defeat, 50 million demon spirit coins will be gone. He's not willing. Shen Fei let out an angry roar and once again stimulated his soul realm. a demon spirit came out of his body, preparing to merge with his demon spirit. Bursts of powerful aura came out of his body. His body quickly changed into sharp fangs and claws. The scarlet black tiger demon spirit let out a series of tiger roars. As long as I merge with my demon spirit, with that fang panda of yours, you think you can fight against me? Trying to stop me from merging with my demon spirit is simply impossible. The flames of the scarlet black tiger is more than enough to burn you to ashes. Xin Fei thought to himself. His body burst out with blazing flames. Young Master Xin is going to show his might. This is the flames of the scarlet black tiger. This flame is incomparably hot. It will burn everything in its surroundings to ashes. Indeed worthy of being called Young Master Xin. To actually have such a combat skill. Nia Li is doomed this time. He can't even get close to this flame. Once Young Master Xin completes his fusion, he can probably defeat the Fanged Panda in one move. How can a demon spirit like the Fanged Panda be the opponent of the Scarlet Black Tiger, although it has an advantage in the beginning? So what? The sounds of discussion rose and fell in the arena. Flames? Is it very powerful? At this moment, after merging with the Fanged Panda, although Niali is standing in the middle of the flames, he can't feel the heat of the flames at all. Although Shan Fei's Scarlet Black Tiger is a demon spirit with a pretty good quality, it's still far from Nia Li's Fanged Panda. Ordinary people can't imagine how powerful the Fanged Panda is. With this level of combat skill, you want to injure the Fanged Panda? However, now is not the time to show off his strength. Just when Xin Fei was about to complete his fusion with the demon spirit, Nia Li raised his leg and ruthlessly stomped on it a few times. Shen Fei's soul realm shook once again, and the fusion failed again. The demon spirit within his soul realm still hasn't come out. The clamor in the martial field came to an abrupt stop once again. Everyone was dumbstruck. The scene of the Fanged Panda rolling on the ground after being scalded by the raging flames didn't happen. Instead, it was Shan Fei who was stepped on miserably. Fusion failed again? How could this be? Those few stomps were really satisfying. He helped Ning vent her anger. Nia Li secretly thought in his heart that Shan Fei was miserably beaten by him. However, Shan Fei still looked like he wanted more. I heard that young Master Xin is a playboy and has played with many women. For the sake of young Master Xin's body, it's best that you don't play with women anymore. Nia Li kicked Shen Fei's acupoint. From today onwards, Shen Fei probably won't be able to have sex. Those who bet on Shen Fei rolled their eyes. Originally, when they heard the tiger's roar, they thought that they had a chance to turn the situation around. However, they never imagined that Nia Li's kicks would ruin their hopes. Uft, uft, how unlucky. He actually lost just like that. It's all that pig head Shen Fei's fault. He was so arrogant that he didn't even summon his demon spirit and wanted to fight. In the end, he didn't even have the chance to summon his demon spirit. However, the Tensei family's methods are really ruthless. They didn't even give Shen Fei the chance to summon his demon spirit. This goes against the spirit of martial arts too much. Thinking about the process of this battle, they had the urge to cry. Meeting such a shameless fellow like Nia Li, what else can they say? Although they can condemn Nia Li on the basis of morality, the rules of the tournament didn't say that it's not allowed. Shen Ming could see that Nia Li wouldn't give Shen Fei the chance to merge with his demon spirit. If this battle continues, Shen Fei, who hasn't merged with his demon spirit, can only be bullied by Nia Li. This battle, my sacred family admits defeat. Please stop, Shan Ming angrily said. His voice spread throughout the entire stage. Anyone could feel the suppressed anger in his voice. In the audience, everyone bitterly smiled. This is the most ridiculous battle that they've ever seen. At this moment, Xin Ning and Shen Xiao of the sacred family looked at each other. They never thought that Shen Fei would lose in such a way. aside from letting Nia Li display his fanged panda demon spirit. Xin Fei didn't even try to probe out Nia Li's true strength. Looking at the naive and harmless appearance of the fanged panda that Nia Li merged with, they couldn't help looking down on Nia Li. Seeing Xin Fei being beaten up so badly, not only did they not feel sad, but they secretly sneered. The young masters of the direct family are indeed spoiled since birth. That's all they have. They heard that Xin Fei often plays with women. His foundation is probably hollowed out. That's why he lost to Nia Li. The money that Xin Fei lost, they will definitely earn it back. The young master of the main family is trash. It's their turn to fight. Hearing Xin Ming's words, Nia Li was secretly depressed. Admitting defeat so quickly? This isn't fun at all. Nia Li ruthlessly stepped on Xin Fei's body again, then cupped his hands toward Xin Fei and said, "Ha ha ha! This battle was really carefree. Brother Xin Fei, thank you for letting me win." Hearing Nia Li's words, the audience was dumbfounded. Nia Li is simply shameless to a new level. Carefree? It's probably Nia Li who is carefree. From the beginning to the end, they only saw Nia Li violently beating up Xin Fei, who was lying on the ground. Xin Fei didn't retaliate at all. As for letting me win, it's really like Xin Fei letting Nia Li win. Without merging with his demon spirit, he went up and let Nia Li beat him up. A lot of people who lost money because they bet on Xin Fei started cursing. What the hell is this? It can't be that the Association of Alchemists and the Sacred Family set us up, right? Making me lose so much. The people of the Sacred Family, I'll hate you for the rest of my life. At this moment, in a corner of the audience, Yixiun, who was watching the battle, couldn't help laughing. When she was in the City Lord's mansion, she heard that the Sacred Family organized the tournament and the Tensei family will also participate. She was a little worried about Nia Li, therefore she rushed over. However, she only hid in a corner and watched. Originally, she thought that Nia Li would be at a disadvantage. However, seeing Nia Li's lively appearance, she understood that her worries were unnecessary. It seems that up until now, no one has been able to make Nia Li suffer a loss. Her pair of clear eyes looked at Nia Li's back figure, slightly narrowing her smile. Yixiun just sat in the corner. That beautiful appearance caused the surrounding people to look at her. They didn't know that Yixiun is the daughter of the City Lord. Such a beautiful girl is rarely seen. Chapter 84. Nia Li doesn't know that Yixiun is also here. He's watching the match from the corner. Nia Li, who returned triumphantly, returned to the viewing platform. The second match will be held a while later. At this moment, Shen Ming looked at his underlings and asked, "What's the result of the bet?" Shen Ming thought a while. Although they lost more than 50 million demon spirit coins in the bet with Nia Li, the majority of the people bet on Xin Fei. Therefore, they should still be able to win back some of it, right? The underling reported. A total of 160 million demon spirit coins were bet. The total amount paid was 166 million demon spirit coins, losing more than 6 million demon spirit coins. How could this be? How could we still lose? Shan Ming angrily said. He thought that he would be able to win back some of it. He never thought that he would actually lose more than 6 million demon spirit coins. Although it's not a lot, it still made him very angry. Damn it, Shan Ming angrily cursed. Ever since he became the deacon of the Sacred Family, he has never made such a big mistake, losing more than 56 million demon spirit coins in one go. Furthermore, it's at the critical moment when the patriarch is about to come out of seclusion. Even if he can use his past achievements to make up for it, he still felt very unhappy in his heart. At this moment, on the side of the Tensei family, Nia Hai, Nia En, and Bunch were very happy, although the one who won wasn't them. But Nia Li, they were able to get such a big piece of meat from the Sacred Family. They felt very happy in their hearts. Previously, they were messed up by the Sacred Family, and now they can finally get back at them. Little brother Nia Li, I thought you were a decent person. I never thought that you would be so cunning. It seems that big sister Yang has to be careful in the future. Yang Xian looked at Nia Li and teased. She crossed her arms in front of her chest. That slightly squeezed area was even more alluring. Nia Li smiled bitterly and said, "Big sister Yang, you've misunderstood me. I'm actually a decent person. But desperate times call for desperate measures." When Yang Xian, Nia Hai, Nia En, and the others heard Nia Li's words, they all looked at Nia Li with a faint smile. Their eyes seemed to be saying, "Who would believe that?" Nia Li shrugged. No matter how hard he tried to explain, it would be useless. He looked at Nia En and asked, "How much did we win in total?" "I've won 50 million demon spirit coins from the bet and 70 million demon spirit coins from the bet," Nia Hai said, lightly smiling. In the blink of an eye, 100 million demon spirit coins had entered his account. Nia Li, this kid, is earning money really fast. Nia Li nodded his head. 100 million demon spirit coins isn't much to him. But to the sacred family, it's not a small number. At this moment, Shen Ming couldn't hold back anymore and walked towards the Tensei family. "Deacon Shen Ming, how is young Master Shen? Our Nia Li is a little too heavy-handed. Please forgive him," Nia Hai said, cupping his hands towards Shen Ming. As the patriarch of the Tensei family, he still has to pretend to be a gentleman. However, his heart was filled with joy. Shen Ming's face slightly twitched. Everyone knows that Shen Fei won't be able to get off the bed for the next half a month. Nia Li, this kid, is really ruthless. Shen Ming still doesn't know where Shen Fei's injuries are. He doesn't know that Shen Fei won't be able to do anything in the future. If he knew, he would definitely be even more furious. However, Shen Ming still gave Shen Ning an order to play with Nia Li until he's crippled. In Shen Ming's view, Nia Li only has a Fang Panda. It's impossible for him to win against Shen Ning. Normally, a Fang Panda is only a bronze rank demon spirit. Even if Nia Li's Fang Panda is a little special, reaching silver rank is already the limit. And Shen Ning is already a 5-star silver rank demon spiritualist. Furthermore, Shen Ning integrated with a sacred flame demon bear, a gold rank demon spirit. Although Shen Fei's Scarlet Black Tiger has the talent to become a black gold rank demon spirit, its current strength is only at silver rank. As for Shen Ning's demon spirit, it has already reached gold rank. If he still loses like this, then there'll be a ghost. Shen Ming looked at Nia Hai and Bunch, coldly snorted, and said, 3 bets, this is only the first one. Don't be happy too early. Let's start the second round. This, Nia Hai couldn't help looking at Nia Li. He also doesn't know how strong Nia Li is. Since the sacred family lost the first round, the one they sent up for the second round, his strength definitely won't be ordinary. Shen Ming also followed Nia Hai's gaze and fell onto Nia Li. His eyes flashed with a chilling light. Nia Li coughed and said, "Isn't it a little inappropriate for the sacred family to do this? I've just fought a round and my soul force has been greatly exhausted. If I were to immediately fight the second round, wouldn't it be unfair for the sacred family to fight me in this manner? How about this? The second round will be delayed for 2 months. When I've recovered my soul force, I'll challenge the younger generation of the sacred family." Hearing Nia Li's words, Yang Xian, Nia Hai and Nian were stunned as they looked at Nia Li. Soul force has been greatly exhausted? In the previous round, Nia Li only merged with his demon spirit, slapped Shen Fei a few times, and stepped on Shen Fei a few times. There wasn't any intense battle at all. Isn't this a little too fake? Shen Ming's face turned black, coldly snorted, and said, "The Tensei family can't be going back on their words after winning the money, right? If that's the case, our sacred family isn't a vegetarian." Shen Ming looked at Yang Exen, coldly snorted, and said, "The Tensei family is so untrustworthy. The Association of Alchemists wouldn't be sheltering the Tensei family, right? If that's the case, I'll have to get our patriarch to have a good talk with the president." Yang Xian's face was slightly red. Although she's definitely standing on Nia Li's side, her face is thin and she's a little embarrassed to say it. If Nia Li really wins and leaves, he'll indeed be in the wrong. Since Deacon Xinming has said so, then I can only accompany him. Even if the sacred family wins unfairly, I believe that no one will dare to speak ill of the sacred family behind their backs. Seeing Xinming's angry face, Nia Li lightly smiled in his heart. He has already thoroughly angered Xinming. Who dares to speak ill of my sacred family? Xinming coldly snorted. He suddenly realized that he made a slip of the tongue. Isn't this clearly admitting that he won unfairly? His lungs were about to explode from anger. Nia Hai, Nia En, and Bunch all had a look of understanding on their faces. The sacred family is indeed good at pressuring others with their strength. Yang Xian lightly said. She finally understood Nia Li's intention. Nia Li is constantly angering Xinming, step by step leading Xinming into his trap. However, can Nia Li really defeat the geniuses of the sacred family? If Nia Li is unable to defeat the geniuses of the sacred family, then all these things would be in vain. So what? Xinming was extremely angry. He looked at Nia Hai, Nia Li, and Bunch and said, "How much is the Tensei family planning to bet this time?" Nia Li lightly said, "From what I see, they have to bet at least 200 to 300 million demon spirit coins. Otherwise, there won't be any meaning at all." Hearing Nia Li's words, Xinming's brain quivered and sobered up a little. Although he was angered by Nia Li, if there's a problem with the 200 million demon spirit coins bet, the consequences isn't something he can bear. Even if he had some contributions to the sacred family in the past, if he loses 200 million demon spirit coins in one go, his good days will come to an end. Since Nia Li dared to accept this bet, it proves that he has some ability. Earlier on, when Shen Fei fought with Nia Li, he didn't manage to probe out Nia Li's strength. Therefore, Xinming didn't dare to act rashly. Xinming went silent for a moment and said, "Since there's still another bet, let's bet 100 million demon spirit coins first." Seeing Xinming's expression, Nia Li understood that Xinming, as a deacon of the sacred family, has a certain amount of authority. He doesn't dare to bet too much. If he were to continue pushing, the other party might be alerted. Since the sacred family doesn't have any confidence, then let's bet 100 million demon spirit coins first. Nia Li lightly smiled and said. Hearing Nia Li's words, Xinming's face turned green. Every time Nia Li opens his mouth, the sacred family would be this and that, degrading the sacred family to nothing, causing him to be extremely angry. Chapter 85. After placing the bet of 100 million, the sacred family no longer continued to be the banker. Yang Xian took over. Since it was Yang Xian who started the bet, Nia Li did not continue to play. Nia Li, you have to work hard. 90% of the people bet on the sacred family to win. This sister's entire fortune is all on you. Yang Xian charmingly looked at Nia Li. Her pink lips pursed into a smile. Her pink lips stuck to the side of Nia Li's face. Her curvaceous figure stuck to the side of Nia Li. He could vaguely feel that pair of softness. It's simply incomparably tempting. This woman was simply a seductress who could charm people to death. Big Sister Yang must be joking. This amount of money is nothing to Big Sister Yang. Even if it's all gone down the drain, it doesn't matter. Nia Li lightly smiled. He naturally wouldn't be so easily tempted by Yang Xian. This sister is betting all of her private money. Yang Xian pouted and said with a little dissatisfaction. Her slender eyebrows were filled with smiles. I don't know about that. I can only light an incense and leave it to fate. A moment later, the bet started. Nia Li and Xinming of the sacred family walked down the stage. The entire stage was boiling. Shouts were coming one after another. Some were supporting Nia Li. Some were supporting Xinming. In the previous round, that kid from the Tensei family cheated quite a bit of money. This time we must get it back. That kid from the Tensei family actually got a Fang Panda demon spirit. He's simply an idiot. Although he tricked the sacred family, Shenning is already a 5-star silver rank demon spiritualist. Therefore, Shenning will definitely win. Although Niali had just won a round, his victory was too disgraceful. Shenfei's loss was too unjust. Therefore, the majority of the people still placed their bets on Shenfei. However, there were also a small number of people who were optimistic about Niali and felt that Niali could create a miracle. After all, Niali had already won once. Looking at Niali in the arena, Yiziyun couldn't help lightly laughing. She heard that the sacred family placed another 100 million as a bet. Niali is too bad. Although Niali's results weren't high during the year-end test, Yiziyun firmly believes that Niali's cultivation has already reached an unimaginable level. Otherwise, how could he control his strength and soul force to such a degree? Therefore, from her point of view, Niali will definitely win against Sacred Family Shinning. Therefore, she took out all of her private stash and bet on Niali winning. Thinking of Niali's bad look, although Yiziyun felt a little annoyed, she didn't know why she would always have some concern for Niali. Just like this time, when she heard that Niali participated in the tournament, she immediately rushed over. It's just the concern between friends. Yiziyun's gaze fell onto Niali, thinking to herself. Her face was slightly hot. She has never paid so much attention to a boy before. The battle began. Xin Ning immediately merged with his demon spirit. His body was covered in blazing flames, transforming into a robust sacred flame demon bear. Roar! Xin Ning took a step forward. Raging flames soared into the sky, and a tyrannical force swept out. The martial arena trembled, and the ground was scorched black. It's actually a sacred flame demon bear, a 5-star silver rank demon spiritualist coupled with a sacred flame demon bear. Within the younger generation, he's definitely an invincible existence. This time, Niali is going to suffer. Previously, he beat up a direct descendant of the sacred family so miserably. The sacred family will definitely not let him have a good time. Those who bet on Shen Ning raised their arms and cheered, their voices boiling. He didn't even greet me and immediately merged with his demon spirit. That's too rude, Niali murmured. Hearing Niali's words, Shen Ning bitterly smiled. In the previous battle, Shenfei didn't even have the chance to merge with his demon spirit and was beaten half to death by Niali. How could he dare to go easy on him? This battle is of great importance. He has to merge with his demon spirit first. As long as he merges with his demon spirit, Niali's Fang Panda will definitely not be able to win against him. Xin Ning's victory is already within his grasp. Niali also quickly merged with his Fanged Panda demon spirit, turning into a chubby, charmingly naive and harmless-looking Fang Panda. No matter how you look at it, this Fang Panda doesn't have any threat. Roar! Xin Ning walked towards Niali. Waves of scorching air gushed out. Fire thunder! Xin Ning suddenly soared into the sky and slapped down with his palm. Blazing flames fell down like meteors. Seeing this scene, Niali no longer wanted to fight and immediately ran away. Boom! Boom! Meteors after meteors fell down, wreaking havoc on the ground, leaving deep craters on the ground. Niali leaped, dodging every single one of them. Seeing this, the spectators broke out in cold sweat. If Niali were to be hit by one of the meteors, even if he doesn't die, he'll still lose half of his life. Booing sounds came from the stage. That brat from the Tensei family is too gutless. He actually ran away the moment the battle started. Can't he have a little backbone? This genius battle is too boring. That brat from the Tensei family, if he can't win, he should just admit defeat. What a waste of emotions. The voices from the stage fluctuated. Yang Xian took a glance at Nia Hai and Yan. Her face slightly sunk and angrily asked, "Are you guys not going to accompany Nya Li to exchange for a demon spirit? Why are you letting Nya Li use a trash demon spirit like the fanged panda?" My great-aunt Nya Hai complained incessantly. He hurriedly said, "Director Yang has misunderstood. Recently, we've helped Nya Li buy at least 100,000 demon spirits. However, Nya Li chose this fanged panda. We can't do anything about it." Hearing Nya Hai's words, Yang Xian was astonished. Nya Hai and Bunch bought over 100,000 demon spirits during this period of time. She took a glance at Nya Li on the stage. Although Nya Li looks to be in a sorry state, he still managed to dodge every attack. It's very possible that he did it on purpose. Since little brother Nya Li chose the fanged panda himself, there must be a reason for it. Yang Xian faintly smiled and thought to herself. Seeing Yang Xian's expression turn from gloomy to sunny, Nya Hai let out a breath of relief. He wiped his sweat. In the end, he's only the patriarch of a small family. How can he afford to offend a big figure like Yang Xian? Yi Ziyun, who was sitting in the corner of the stage, stared at the stage. Her brows were slightly knitted. Even she couldn't tell if Nya Li did it on purpose or if he had already tried his best. However, she has a feeling that Nya Li will definitely win. Flaming meteors constantly exploded around Nya Li. In fact, these flaming meteors can't do anything to Nya Li. Nya Li casually opened his mouth and spat out a yin-yang blast toward Xin Ning. It's more than enough to send Xin Ning flying. However, Nya Li doesn't want to win against Xin Ning so easily. If he were to easily win against Xin Ning, the sacred family will definitely not play with him in the third round. Therefore, he has to barely win against Xin Ning. "Kid, don't run." Xin Ning continued to go berserk, using the sacred flame demon bear's terrifying strength to bombard the stage. The entire stage was ruthlessly ravaged. However, what made Xin Ning a little depressed is that Nya Li's luck is too good. Every time his flaming meteors were about to hit Nya Li would always be able to dodge them. Thinking of the clumsy appearance of the ordinary fanged panda and looking at Nya Li's rolling and crawling posture, Xin Ning couldn't help having a weird feeling in his heart. The fanged panda that Nya Li integrated with is really a freak. If it was an ordinary fanged panda, it would have already been killed by him. How could it last for so long? Roar! Xin Ning jumped down from the sky. Both of his hands were clasped together, turning into a flaming fist, and fiercely smashed down from the sky. Seeing this scene, Nya Li's eyes lit up and rolled to the side. Trying to run? It's too late. Xin Ning's face showed a trace of a sneer. Blazing flames were spewing out from his body. His entire body was like a meteorite falling down. Chapter 86. Gravity Field. Nya Li used the fanged panda's gravity field combat skill. The surrounding gravity suddenly increased by several folds. Boom! Xin Ning's entire body fell down from the sky. Just when Xin Ning was about to hit his body, Nya Li leaped to the side, dodging the impact of the flames. However, there were still burn marks on his body. Nya Li secretly let out a sigh of relief. He almost became a roasted panda. He obviously had the strength to crush his opponent, but he pretended to be weaker than his opponent. This is really a test of his acting skills. The entire arena rumbled. The earth shook and the mountain shook. Xin Ning smashed a 10-meter wide crater on the ground. Flames soared into the sky. Dust scattered in all directions. The spectators in the stands became excited and screamed, "Oh, what kind of terrifying strength is that? Oh my God, this is the strength of the sacred flame demon bear? It's too scary. Although he's only a 5-star silver rank, his strength is already comparable to a gold rank. Xin Ning will win. Xin Ning, Xin Ning." The stands were filled with shouts, each wave louder than the last. Not to mention the bet. Nya Li ran away before the fight even started, being chased by Xin Ning. Their hearts were filled with disdain. If Nieli won, there would be no justice in this world. Shenming also showed a satisfied smile, nodded his head, and said, Shenning is a good kid. Looking at the strength he displayed, he should have reached gold rank. He must be very diligent in his training. If he wins against that kid from the Tensei family, I'll definitely reward him when we get back. Hearing Shenming's words, Shen Xiao couldn't help showing a jealous expression. Even he, who often trains with Shenning, never thought that Shenning's strength would have already reached gold rank. On the Tensei family side, young Xian frowned her brows and murmured, Shenning is only a 5-star silver rank demon spiritualist. How can he display such powerful strength? With such powerful strength, he should at least be a 3-star gold rank, right? Yi Ziyun's eyes were filled with confusion as she watched from afar. At this moment, on the martial arena, the drifting dust slowly drifted down, and the figure in the middle of the deep pit gradually became clear. In an instant, the stands that were originally boiling with excitement became deathly silent. Everyone stared dumbfoundedly at the center of the deep pit, because at this moment, Shenning was lying motionless in the middle of the deep pit like a dead dog. His body was riddled with wounds, all of which were burnt marks. What the hell is going on? Who can tell me what is going on? Shenming roared hysterically. After Shenning leaped up, he used the Fire Meteor Heaven's fall battle technique. But in the end, he fainted from the fall? Who would believe such a thing? Seeing this scene, not only was Shenming puzzled, even Yang Xian, Nia Hai, Nia En, and Bunch were dumbfounded. The people of the sacred family can't be that stupid, right? The first person that came up without summoning his demon spirit was beaten up by Nieli. The second person that summoned his demon spirit exploded with strength no less than a gold rank, and in the end he fainted from the fall? However, this scene was placed in front of them. They had no choice but to believe it. Yang Xian seemed to have understood something and murmured, I've said it before that Shenning wouldn't have the strength of a 3-star gold rank for no reason. Could it be that little brother Nia Li did something to it? The stands were dead silent. Everyone had their eyes wide open, staring at the martial arena. However, after waiting for a long time, Shenning still couldn't get up. He was like a dead dog, lying there motionless. Fuck! Sacred family's trash, get up! Damn it, the sacred family's trash are really useless. Those who lost money started cursing the sacred family. The audience in the stands had the urge to go berserk. It can't be that the Association of Alchemists colluded with the sacred family to trick us, right? Impossible. The Association of Alchemists earned God knows how much money just from those elixirs. Why would they care about this little bit of money? It's the sacred family's trash that are too useless. As for those who bet on Nieli, they were all smiling. Nieli is really a lucky kid. The first round, Shen Fei, that idiot, didn't integrate with his demon spirit and came up for free. The second round, Shenning learned to be smart and integrated with his demon spirit, but in the end he fainted from the impact again for free. What they don't know is that Shenning didn't faint from the impact, but was tricked by Nieli. The might of the heavenly fire meteor that Shenning executed is very huge. It's to jump to a very high place and increase the speed of the fall. That speed is already the limit of a 5-star silver rank. Nieli suddenly added a gravity field to Shenning, causing the gravity that Shenning felt to suddenly increase by several times. Shenning couldn't even react in time and smashed into the ground with a strength that was several times stronger than usual. The consequences of that can be imagined. It's already very lucky that all the bones in his body didn't shatter. Seeing Shenning lying on the ground, the corner of Nia Li's mouth slightly smiled. Shenning fainted. He probably won't wake up for 2 to 3 days. The gravity field is an invisible combat skill. Outsiders wouldn't be able to detect that it was Nieli who did it. Nieli won again. There's really no challenge at all. Although Nieli is only a silver rank, his true strength is enough to crush 2 to 3-star gold rank experts. Therefore, Shenning isn't a threat to him at all. After Yi Ziyun saw this scene, she wasn't surprised at all. On the contrary, she had an as expected expression on her face. The sacred family once again fell into the hands of Nye Li. Looking at Nye Li, she couldn't help pouting. Nye Li always has the appearance of having the pearl of wisdom in his hands. Even in terms of feelings, he's confident that Yi Ziyun will definitely fall for him. He's really too annoying. Will I really fall for Nye Li one day? Yi Ziyun's eyes flashed a trace of blankness. Thinking about what happened in the ancient Orchid City's underground palace, Yi Ziyun couldn't help feeling shy in her heart. Her heartbeat inexplicably sped up and started beating. After the competition ended, Nye Li once again received 100 million demon spirit coins from Shinming, making the sacred family pay 150 million demon spirit coins. Although it's not enough to shake the foundation of the sacred family, it can at least let the sacred family live a tight life for a period of time. Even if it's a major family like the sacred family, to be able to maintain 300 to 500 million demon spirit coins is already very good. Of course, the total value of the sacred family's various industries is far more than that. It can reach tens of billions, but the cash they have is probably only that much. Although this 150 million demon spirit coins isn't much to Nye Li, but Nye Li's mood is still very comfortable. Deacon Shinming, thanks for letting me win. The few brothers of the sacred family are too polite, letting me win every time. I'm a little embarrassed from winning, so I've been wrongly blaming the sacred family. The sacred family isn't stingy, they're just too generous. Nye Li smiled and said to Deacon Shinming. Shinming's face was ashen. His lips were trembling from anger. Hearing Nye Li's sarcastic words again, if it's possible, he really wants to slap Nye Li's head into the mud. 150 million demon spirit coins. How is he going to explain this to the patriarch? Monday is going to be on the leaderboard. Everyone, give your recommendation to the snail. If it's recommended tomorrow, the snail will add another chapter. Chapter 87. After losing this 150 million demon spirit coins, Shenming's contributions to the sacred family are all gone. When the patriarch comes out, he will definitely not let him go. Losing his position as a deacon is still secondary. With the patriarch's means and the fact that he knows so many secrets of the sacred family, he won't be able to escape death. At this moment, Shinming's eyes flashed with a hint of madness. There's still one more match. If he can win back the money he lost in the third match, then not only will he not be in the wrong, he will also have done a good deed. I must win the third match. Shinming calculated for a moment. He can still take out 200 million demon spirit coins. This is all the money that the sacred family has left. Originally, it was prepared to be used to purchase a batch of elixirs from the Association of Alchemists for the younger generation to cultivate. 200 million demon spirit coins. If he wins, he will be able to answer to the patriarch. Fight! Shinming's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. Patriarch Nye, we still have the third match, right? Shinming glanced at Nye and coldly said. Nye was stunned for a moment, glanced at Nye Li. Seeing Nye Li nodding his head, Nye said, Yes, there's still the third match. Yang Xian slightly frowned. With her understanding of Shenming made the sacred family lose 150 million demon spirit coins. The consequences will be very serious. After returning, Shenming probably won't be able to escape the fate of being under house arrest. And now, Shenming still wants to bet. That proves that Shinming is already fighting with his life on the line. The development of the matter is also reasonable. Shenming is already close to insanity. Wanting to fight for the last time is very normal. This match will bet 300 million demon spirit coins. Shinming coldly said. He has already sent people to the various shops of the sacred family to withdraw the funds. If the patriarch of the sacred family is here, he will definitely stop Shinming's actions. However, Shenming has been a deacon in the sacred family for so many years. He has always been trusted by the patriarch of the sacred family. His authority is very high. All the shops under the sacred family are under his management. If he wants to withdraw the funds, the shops of the sacred family won't say a word. Since it's the last fight, if he can win back 300 million demon spirit coins, his position in the sacred family will go up a step. All right, then let's bet 300 million demon spirit coins. Niali said, nodding his head. Seeing Shen Ming's expression, he already knew that Shen Ming wanted to make his final struggle. The corner of Nia Li's mouth curved into a cold smile. This was exactly what he was looking for. The patriarchs of the various families were discussing amongst themselves. They are all witnesses. They never thought that the sacred family would still want to bet after losing 150 million demon spirit coins. This time, they bet another 300 million. The sacred family is really going all out. Previously, Deacon Shinming had lost so many demon spirit coins. When he goes back, he probably won't be able to be a deacon anymore. He probably wants to win it back in this round. I heard that Shen Xiao is the one they sent this time. I know Shen Xiao. He's already a 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist at such a young age. The reason why that brat Niali was able to win against Xin Fei and Xin Ning was mostly due to luck. Now that he's facing a gold rank demon spiritualist, I'm afraid that there's no suspense in the outcome. 300 million demon spirit coins. If he loses, Deacon Shinming will be finished. Furthermore, this is probably all the liquid funds of the sacred family. The various families were discussing amongst themselves. It's another bet. The amount of money being bet is definitely something that they've never seen before in their lives, causing their blood to boil. On Yang Xian's bet, everyone also placed their bets. However, whether Yang Xian wins or loses, Nieli doesn't care. Anyways, Yang Xian has some money. As a member of the Association of Alchemists, Yang Xian has a lot of power in her hands. After coming in contact with Nieli, she helped the Association of Alchemists earn God knows how much. Even if she took out a few 100 million, the elders wouldn't say anything. After the money for the bet was in place, the third round was about to begin. The surrounding stands were once again boiling with excitement. Under the attention of everyone, Nia Li slowly walked down the stage. Shen Ming's cold gaze stared at Nia Li. His eyes flashed with a hint of fierceness. He took out 2 elixirs from his bosom and solemnly said, "Xin Xiao, these are 2 demon spirit strengthening pills. Before the battle starts, immediately eat these 2 demon spirit strengthening pills." Shen Xiao looked at Xinming in shock and said, "Deacon Xinming, that kid's probably only a 1-star silver rank. With my 1-star gold rank strength, it's more than enough to get rid of that kid. There's no need for me to use these demon spirit strengthening pills." Xin Zhao's demon spirit is the Longyan Owl. It's a very powerful and rare demon spirit. The price is as high as 2 million demon spirit coins. If he were to eat 2 demon spirit strengthening pills, although it can let the Longyan Owl's power increase by several folds for half an hour, it's the same as crippling the Longyan Owl. Xin Zhao's heart ached for it. "What are you afraid of? Listen to me. This matter is very important. If something goes wrong, can you afford it? That's 300 million demon spirit coins. If you win this battle, I'll give you 20 million demon spirit coins. At that time, you can buy any demon spirit you want." Xin Ming solemnly said. Hearing Shen Ming's words, Xin Zhao's eyes lit up. Although the Longyan Owl is rare, it can be bought with 2 million demon spirit coins. If Shen Ming were to give him 20 million, he can buy a higher grade demon spirit. Wasting the Longyan Owl wouldn't be a pity. "Okay, I will listen to Deacon Shen Ming's instructions." Shen Xiao nodded his head and placed the 2 demon spirit strengthening pills into his interspatial ring. Shen Xiao looked at Nia Li's back figure and snorted. "Losing to me is your fate. You actually want to waste a Longyan Owl's demon spirit and eat 2 demon spirit strengthening pills to deal with you. You should feel honored. In Shen Zhao's view, with his 1-star gold rank strength, defeating Nieli is an easy matter. One must know that he's a 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist. After the two of them left the stage, the audience once again boiled up. However, this time, no one is sure who will win. Although Nieli's strength is far from Shen Zhao's, who knows if Nieli will have the same heaven-defying luck as before. They believe that the reason why Nieli was able to win 2 battles in a row is all due to luck. This time, the majority of the people didn't dare to place their bets. The only one that firmly believes that Nieli will win is Yi Ziyun. Yi Ziyun once again placed all of her pocket money and the money she just won on Nieli. Cheers came one after another. I never thought that you would be able to win 2 battles in a row. However, you will definitely lose to me next. Shen Zhao coldly stared at Nieli and confidently said, I'm different from them. I'm a 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist. Furthermore, I'm a 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist that integrated with the Longyan Owl Eagle. At this moment, Nieli lazily stretched his waist. He was so tired from pretending earlier. Now that it's the 3rd round, he can finally stop pretending. How would I know if I don't try? I won 2 battles in a row before. Who knows? Maybe my luck will be as good as before in the 3rd round. Nieli lightly smiled, appearing calm and leisurely. Shen Zhao's gaze turned cold. Nieli is indeed a little weird. He obviously knows that he's a gold rank expert, but he's not panicking at all. His right hand moved, listening to Xin Ming's words, and swallowed 2 demon spirit strengthening pills. At this moment, the audience went into an uproar. Did my eyes see wrongly? The sacred family Shen Zhao actually swallowed a demon spirit strengthening pill? A 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist facing a fang panda actually swallowed a demon spirit strengthening pill? And it seems to be 2 of them. Indeed, the sacred family was frightened by the 2 battles they lost earlier. Chapter 88. Before the fight even started, the sacred family's momentum has already weakened. However, the sacred family no longer cares about this. Even if they lose their face, it doesn't matter. After all, it's 300 million demon spirit coins. At this moment, the spectators were discussing amongst themselves. Even if he has heaven-defying luck, it's impossible for him to win this round. 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist, and with 2 more demon spirit strengthening pills. Nieli will definitely lose. At this moment, even Nie Hai, Nie En, and Bunch weren't optimistic about Nieli. After all, his opponent is too strong. I've bet on the sacred family 3 times in a row. This time I can finally win, right? The previous 2 rounds were really unjust. This time I must win it back. I'll still bet a portion of my money on Nieli. I still feel that Nieli can win. There's definitely something strange about this kid. Even if he loses this round, I've already won the previous 2 rounds. On the arena, Shen Zhao had already made his preparations. Waves of powerful sacred flame energy swept out. Boom, boom, boom. The arena was bombarded by the sacred flame energy, causing cracks to appear on the surface. The cracks were like a spider web, rapidly spreading out. Shen Zhao walked towards Nieli 1 step at a time. At this moment, Nieli lightly smiled, merged with the Fang Panda. If you guys underestimate the strength of my Fang Panda, then you're making a huge mistake. Gravity field. Nieli coldly snorted. An invisible gravity field formed around him, enveloping Shen Zhao. Shen Zhao suddenly felt that his weight had increased by several folds. Taking a step forward became extremely difficult. His face slightly changed. Nieli's strength is indeed extraordinary. It's actually a rare gravity combat skill. Shen Zhao kept the contempt in his heart. His expression was extremely solemn. Boom, boom, boom. Shen Zhao's feet created a deep depression in the arena. that terrifying might caused everyone to be shocked. So powerful. A 1-star gold rank already has such frightening strength. Everyone in the stands exclaimed in shock. Only Shen Xiao, who was in the gravitational field, knew what was going on. He suddenly understood why Xin Ning lost. He didn't dare to underestimate his opponent anymore. He quickly merged with the Longyan Owl, and a pair of huge wings grew out from his back. Those strong and powerful wings flapped as he flew. You are the strongest opponent I have ever met among my peers. Have a taste of my Longyan break. Xin Xiao faced the sky and let out a long cry. He opened his mouth and spat out a blazing flame. A scorching pillar of flame shot towards Nieli. A wave of heat hit him in the face, and Nieli felt like his whole body was about to be burnt. This Longyan Owl was a part of the dragon species. The flames it spat out contained traces of a dragon's might. It was incomparably powerful. Let's see if your Longyan break is more powerful, or my Yin Yang blast is more powerful. Nieli leaped back, opened his mouth, and spat out 2 balls of light, one black and one white. The 2 balls of light intertwined in the air, drawing 2 streaks of light. Boom! The black and white balls of light danced in the air and collided with the pillar of flame. A terrifying explosion rang out. After the 2 forces exploded, the terrifying force continued to wreak havoc, sweeping across the ground again and again, causing rubble to fly everywhere. Nieli leaped backwards and steadily stood outside of the explosion's range. He looked calm and composed. As for Shen Xiao, he was swept away by the explosion and was sent flying dozens of meters away. Only then did he stagger and stabilize his footsteps. There was dead silence in the spectators' stands. What's going on? Could it be that I'm seeing things? Did Nieli completely gain the upper hand in the battle? Shen Xiao is a super genius of the sacred family, a 1-star gold rank demon spiritualist. Furthermore, he has eaten 2 demon spirit strengthening pills. Even with that, he still isn't Nieli's opponent. They were dumbfounded. In this match, Nieli was calm and composed. He looked like he still had energy to spare. It was completely different from the previous 2 matches. Yang Exan looked at Nieli's back figure. Her eyes were filled with splendor. Only 13 years old, and his strength is already enough to fight against a gold rank. It seems that I've underestimated you. After a brief moment of shock, Niahai and Nian were ecstatic and excited. A 13-year-old gold rank demon spiritualist. Even Lord Yi, Mo, didn't have such shocking talent back then, right? After today's match, Nieli will rise like a comet in Glory City, receiving the protection of the city Lord's mansion. In the future, if anyone or any family wants to touch Nieli, they will have to think twice. Such a genius with such talent will definitely become a pinnacle existence in Glory City. After so many years of silence, the era of the Tensei family is about to arrive. At this moment, the spectators from the various families finally understood what had happened. In the previous 2 matches, Nieli had been concealing his strength. They all thought that Nieli had won by luck. However, that wasn't the case. What made them even more shocked was Nieli's frightening talent and strength. A 13-year-old gold rank demon spiritualist. My God! Could it be that a legend rank demon spiritualist like Mo is about to appear? Nieli! 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 The entire viewing platform was boiling. Everyone was shouting and yelling in excitement. Many of them had complicated feelings. Because they bet on Shen Xiao, they lost quite a bit of money. However, at this moment, they were cheering for Nieli from the bottom of their hearts. It wasn't easy for Glory City to survive until now. Every time the demon beasts attacked, Glory City had to rely on Lord Mo to repel the strongest demon beasts in the demon beast horde, allowing Glory City to survive. However, as time passed, Lord Mo gradually aged. The citizens of Glory City had a strong sense of urgency. If there's no legend rank demon spiritualist appearing, then Glory City will be in danger. Although there are a few black gold rank demon spiritualists in Glory City, the majority of those black gold rank demon spiritualists are already over 40 years old. It's very hard for them to have the opportunity to charge into legend rank demon spiritualist. Everyone is looking forward to the appearance of a genius. Nye Li is, without a doubt, the most dazzling one. A 13-year-old gold rank demon spiritualist. This age is the golden period for cultivation to rapidly increase. After 30 years old, one's cultivation talent will slowly go downhill. Their cultivation will also gradually regress, making it hard for them to advance. Nye Li has such shocking achievements at such a young age. Who can say what level Nye Li can reach in the future? Who knows, he might even become a legend rank demon spiritualist that's even stronger than Lord Yemo. Losing money is nothing. To be able to see the appearance of such a genius is simply an exciting matter. At this moment, Shen Ming slumped on his chair. Both of his eyes were lifeless as he muttered, "Just what is going on? How can this be? How can Nye Li already have the strength of a gold rank demon spiritualist at the age of 13? What he doesn't know is that Nye Li's soul force is only a 2-star silver rank. The reason why he has the strength to contend against a gold rank demon spiritualist is because Nye Li's usage of soul force has reached perfection. The other reason is that Nye Li's Fang Panda is a god-level growth rate demon spirit. By itself, it has terrifying strength. Anyone who underestimates it will pay the price. If Shen Shao loses, then he will be the sinner of the sacred family. His ending has already been determined. No, Shen Shao has not lost yet. Shen Ming's eyes reignited a trace of hope as he stared at the arena. Chapter 89. Boom, boom, boom. The battle on the arena became more and more intense. Shen Shao frantically counterattacked. But every time he burst out with a violent power, it was ruthlessly suppressed by Nye Li looking at that nimble figure. Shen Zhao's eyes flashed with a trace of fear. Nye Li gave him too much pressure. Long Yen, sacred pillar. Shen Shao roared. One after another, thick Long Yen sacred pillars descended from the sky. They turned into huge pillars and swept across the arena, wreaking havoc and flames. The audience burst into exclamations of shock. What a frightening move! They couldn't help but worry for Nye Li. Seeing the thick pillars of fire sweeping towards him, Nye Li didn't feel nervous at all. Instead, he let out a relaxed smile. This kind of move looks good, but it's useless. It might be useful in dealing with low-level beasts, but in a battle between experts, using this kind of move is just wasting one's soul force. Nye Li secretly thought. Nye Li, who had the battle experience from his previous life, naturally wouldn't put this kind of move in his eyes. What Nye Li didn't know was that Shen Shao had already used all his moves, but they were all useless. He could only use this Long Yen sacred pillar. Shen Shao didn't expect to use this move to kill Nye Li. He had already given up all hope. Looking at Nye Li's calm expression, he knew that Nye Li still had many hidden moves that he hadn't used. Nye Li leaped up, dodging the pillars of fire. With a swoosh, he swept behind Shen Shao. Thunderstrike! Nye Li's huge palm cut through the sky, emitting a shocking sound. With a bang, it heavily slapped on Shen Zhao's back. In an instant, Shen Shao was like a meteor, crashing into the ground. Boom! A terrifying and deafening sound rang out. The entire martial arena shook violently and a huge pit appeared on the ground. Shen Shao was gasping heavily in the pit. He lay on his back in the pit, his eyes gradually lost focus and his consciousness slowly blurred. He had lost. From the beginning, Nye Li had been suppressing him, not giving him any chance to fight back. Moreover, he had been holding back. Nye Li gave him an unfathomable feeling. He felt that no matter how he burst out, he would not be a match for Nye Li. His eyes were filled with confusion. He never thought that he would lose after eating 2 demon spirit strengthening pills. He can only say that Niali is too scary. Moreover, the opponent was only a 13-year-old boy. The difference was too great. I've always thought that I was an unparalleled genius, but it turns out that I'm just a frog at the bottom of a well. Seeing this scene, the stands were dead silent for a moment, and then erupted into a tsunami of cheers. Niali! 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 Waves of cheers were earth-shattering. Nia Li's strength left a deep impression on them. When a super expert rises, they would easily crush any opponent of the same age. However, at this moment, the opponent that Nia Li crushed wasn't an opponent of the same age, but a genius in his 20s. How far will Nia Li grow in the future? No one had an answer in their hearts. However, they knew that they had witnessed history today. In the corner of the stands far away, Yi Ziyun was looking at Nia Li's back figure. At this moment, she was still shocked by Nia Li's strength. What a powerful talent! He's even stronger than her grandfather when he was young. She suddenly had a thought. Will Nia Li really become a legend, rank demon spiritualist like he said? The possibility of this happening is very high. Yi Ziyun couldn't help thinking of the joke that she had with Nia Li. She said that if Nia Li becomes a legend, rank demon spiritualist, she'll marry him. Is she going to keep her promise or not? Her thoughts couldn't help becoming chaotic. Thinking of the unclear relationship between Nia Li and Ninger, she snorted. She doesn't want to marry Nia Li, this womanizer. The cheers slowly calmed down. However, the shock caused by Nia Li won't calm down so quickly. It will soon spread throughout the entire Glory City. Shen Ming was dejected as he was supported by someone and left. After this matter, he's afraid that he will no longer be a managing elder of the sacred family. Nia Li also successfully received 300 million demon spirit coins. In this tournament, Nia Li earned a total of 450 million demon spirit coins. Although Nia Li doesn't lack money, he's very happy to be able to make the sacred family fall into a predicament. Although this amount of money isn't much to Nia Li, it's enough to make the sacred family have a headache for a period of time. Yang Xen looked at Nia Li. Her eyes were filled with worry and said, Nia Li, I'm afraid it's not good for you to display your strength like this. What if the Dark Guild has their eyes on you? After all, Nia Li is too dazzling right now. If they knew of Nia Li's talent, the Dark Guild might do anything to get rid of Nia Li. However, at this moment, Nia Li lightly smiled, shook his head and said, I have my own plans. Hearing Nia Li's words, Yang Xen lightly nodded. Nia Li should have his own plans, right? However, she's still prepared to send more guards for Nia Li. Big Sister Yang, I previously asked you to help me investigate if there's any connection between the Dark Guild and the Sacred Family. How's your investigation? Nia Li transmitted his voice to Yang Xan. I've investigated and found out that the Sacred Family has taken in a person from the Dark Guild. His name seems to be something like Li Yanhua. However, just based on this point, there's no way to do anything to the Sacred Family. Yang Xan shook her head and sighed. However, at least she can confirm that the Sacred Family isn't clean. They have to be careful. She has already reported this information to the president. The president will definitely pass this information to the city lord. Nia Li nodded his head. If he wants to bring down the Sacred Family with this, then he's thinking of the Sacred Family as too simple. To deal with the Sacred Family, he has to take his time. Along with the Sacred Family leaving, the Tensei family also left. The Tournament of Geniuses is still going on. It's just that the other families are playing by themselves. In the corner of the arena, Yi Ziyun saw this scene and pursed her lips into a smile. Nia Li is really bad. Shen Ming of the Sacred Family is in trouble. However, she doesn't have any good impression of the Sacred Family. It's good that the Sacred Family is out of luck. Just when Yi Ziyun was about to turn around and leave, a familiar figure entered her eyes. She saw Nia Li smiling at her. I'm only here to take a look at the Tournament of Geniuses. I never thought that you would be here. Yi Ziyun's face was red as she stubbornly said, Did I say anything? Niali spread his hands and teased, Since that's the case, why don't you continue watching and want to leave? Yi Ziyun stomped her feet. It's impossible for her to admit that she cares about Niali in front of Niali. She angrily said, I realize that there's no meaning in this place, so can't I just leave? Seeing Yi Ziyun's cute look, Niali lightly smiled. He took out a demon spirit stone from his interspatial ring and grabbed onto Yi Ziyun's smooth hand. He stuffed the demon spirit stone into Yi Ziyun's hand, smiled and said, This is for you. Feeling the warmth coming from Nia Li's palm, Yi Ziyun didn't shake off Nia Li's hand. She doesn't know why, but her heartbeat suddenly sped up. What is this? Yi Ziyun lowered her head. There was an indescribable shyness in her heart. Seeing Yi Ziyun's appearance and the faint fragrance of a young girl caused Niali's heart to be moved. He smiled and said, This is a snow wind attribute, snow, queen demon spirit. A black gold rank snow, queen demon spirit? Where did you get this demon spirit? Yi Ziyun asked in surprise. Snow Queen is a very rare and powerful demon spirit. This Snow Queen is not an ordinary Snow Queen. It's a Snow Queen demon spirit with a god-level growth rate. After you integrate with it, you'll know that it's very powerful. After integrating with it, you must nurture it well. Don't eat things like demon spirit strengthening pills. Niali exhorted. In order to get this Snow Queen demon spirit, he spent a lot of effort. Chapter 90. Niali, why are you giving it to me? Yi Ziyun raised her head, blinked her big bright eyes, and looked at Niali, because I like you. Niali looked at Yi Ziyun, lightly smiled, and said, Then all the more I can't accept it. Hearing Niali's bold confession, Yi Ziyun's face blushed. She has already received a great favor from Niali. If she were to receive another favor from Niali, she wouldn't know how to return it in the future. How about this? Consider it as you owing me a favor. In the future, I will definitely need your help with something. Niali thought a while and said, To make this stubborn girl agree to his request so quickly, it's obviously not an easy matter. What can I help you with? Yi Ziyun lowered her head. Her face was still blushing. Of course you can help me. You're the daughter of the city lord, who knows how many people want to ask you to do something for them. I'm the same. I have already integrated with my demon spirit. This Snow Queen isn't suitable for my attributes. There's no point in keeping it. Niali looked at Yi Ziyun's lowered head, thinking that this little girl is getting more and more charming. Hearing Niali's words, Yi Ziyun hesitated for a moment, nodded her head, and said, All right, but the thing you want me to do, it definitely can't be a bad thing. That's for sure. Have you ever seen someone more upright than me? Niali said with a serious expression. Hearing Niali's words, Yi Ziyun suddenly giggled. She laughed until her body trembled. Niali's words are simply too funny. Who was the one that played the sacred family's people around? Niali, I'll accept this Snow Queen. I want to see what kind of god-level growth rate demon spirit you have. Consider it as me owing you a favor. You can ask me to do one thing for you, but it definitely can't be a bad thing. Otherwise, I'll let my father buy this demon spirit from you. Yi Ziyun waved her little hand, lightly like a butterfly, and ran forward. What Yi Ziyun doesn't know is that she has gradually treated Niali as a very close person. If it's someone else, like Xinyu and the rest, she would definitely not accept it. Looking at Yi Ziyun's figure gradually getting further away, Niali smiled and muttered, It won't be long before we can meet again. In our previous life, fate has bound us together. Even if we want to cut it off, it's impossible to cut it off. Finishing speaking, Niali slowly turned around and left. Very quickly, the news of Niali suppressing sacred families, 1-star gold, rank demon spiritualist, Shen Shao, at the age of 13, quickly spread out. The entire Glory City was shaken. How many years has it been since Glory City had such a shocking genius? The Tensei family once again entered everyone's line of sight. Every day, there would be an endless stream of people visiting the Tensei family. However, Nya Li seemed to have suddenly disappeared. He went into seclusion and did not meet anyone. Those who wanted to meet Nya Li were all blocked by the Tensei family. As the news spread out, the city guards found traces of the Dark Guild's activities all over Glory City. They captured and killed dozens of Dark Guild's people. In order to ensure Nya Li's safety, City Lord Yizong has decided to bring Nya Li into the City Lord's mansion to nurture him. After knowing this news, the Dark Guild's activities slowly calmed down. If Nya Li were to stay in the Tensei family, the Dark Guild would definitely not let Nya Li go. However, since Nya Li has been brought into the City Lord's mansion, they don't have the guts to cause trouble in the City Lord's mansion. After all, the City Lord's mansion has legend rank demon spiritualists, several black gold rank demon spiritualists, and countless martial experts. Aside from Nya Li also brought Nyeyu into the City Lord's mansion. He has decided to properly guide Nyeyu in her cultivation. As for the Tensei family, no one would dare to touch the Tensei family. As long as he's not in the Tensei family, the Dark Guild will not make a move on the Tensei family because it's meaningless. All of this is within Nya Li's expectations. The reason why Nya Li dared to reveal his strength in the Tournament of Geniuses was because he had already calculated this step. It's said that when Xin Yu of the Sacred Family heard that Nya Li has revealed his gold rank strength and has been brought into the City Lord's mansion, he vomited blood in grief and indignation. Originally, he still had a little bit of hope for Yizun, but now he knows that there's no hope for him. When Yang Xian heard this news in the Association of Alchemists, she understood why Nya Li was so confident. Nya Li probably already expected that he would be brought into the City Lord's mansion. It seems that if she wants to meet Nya Li in the future, she'll have to go to the City Lord's mansion. Sacred Family, the patriarch of the Sacred Family, Shen Hong, finally came out from his secluded cultivation. After this period of secluded cultivation, his cultivation has greatly increased. However, he still hasn't stepped into the realm of legend, rank, demon, spiritualist. Legend, rank, demon, spiritualist isn't that easy to reach. As his cultivation increases, he understood this point more clearly. He doesn't know how that old man, Yemo, broke through. Every time he thought of his age getting older and his cultivation showing signs of declining, Shinhong became more and more anxious. When he heard about the bet, he immediately flew into a rage. Xin Ming has always been reliable, therefore he has always been at ease. However, he never thought that Xin Ming would make such a big mistake, losing 450 million demon spirit coins in one go. With that much money, how many elixirs can he buy and how many younger generations of the family can he nurture? Shen Ming, do you know your crime? Shen Hong sat on the high chair, coldly looking at Xin Ming, who was kneeling on the ground. Feeling Shen Hong's fearful gaze, Xin Ming's body was trembling from fear. He anxiously said, "Please forgive us, Patriarch. We never thought that Nya Li of the Tensei family would have the cultivation of gold rank at such a young age. We were careless for a moment and got tricked by them. I hope that Patriarch can consider the fact that I have done my best for the sacred family in the past." "Shut up!" Shen Hong furiously swept his gaze at Xin Ming. Shen Ming immediately shut his mouth, not daring to speak anymore. Shen Hong silently pondered. This loss of 450 million demon spirit coins isn't enough to shake the foundation of the sacred family. However, what made Shen Hong feel the pressure is that during his seclusion, the relationship between the sacred family and the Tensei family has reached an inexplicable degree. Originally, the Tensei family is such a small family that the sacred family doesn't have to care about. However, this youth, Nya Li, caused him to pay attention to him. A 13-year-old youth actually has the strength of gold rank. This kind of talent caused him to be jealous. Who can imagine how far this youth will grow in the future? Once this youth grows up, no matter if it's the Sacred Family or the Dark Guild, he will be a huge threat. This threat must be strangled in the cradle. If Nye Li and the Sacred Family are fine, then Shen Hong can still tolerate him. However, Nye Li has never been on good terms with the Sacred Family from the start. Therefore, he must be killed. Now that Nye Li is being protected by the City Lord's mansion, it will be a little difficult for them to kill Nye Li. I don't believe that you can stay in the City Lord's mansion and not come out. Shen Hong coldly thought. He looked at Shen Ming, who was kneeling on the ground, and solemnly said, Shen Ming, you know the rules of our Sacred Family. According to the Sacred Family's rules, you have committed such a huge mistake. According to the rules, you will be beheaded. However, seeing that you are an old servant of our Sacred Family and have made a great contribution to the Sacred Family, I will give you a chance to atone for your mistake. Hearing Shen Hong's words, Shen Ming's eyes, which were originally like dead ashes, suddenly flashed a trace of hope. He raised his head, looked at Shen Hong, and said, As long as the Patriarch commands, even if I have to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames, I will have no complaints. Very well, I want you to bring people to kill Nye Li. As long as you kill Nye Li, I will get people to send you out of the city and send you to the Dark Guild to be a deacon. Shen Hong said, But Nye Li is in the City Lord's mansion. Shen Ming knows about the matter between the Sacred Family and the Dark Guild. Either he kills Nye Li or he dies. He has no other choice. There will be a day when he comes out. Shen Hong lightly said, I understand. I will listen to the Patriarch's command. Shen Ming's eyes flashed a trace of ruthlessness. He understands that only by doing this will he have a chance of survival. Otherwise, with Shen Hong's means, he will definitely die without a corpse left. Shen Ming, I have treated you well. Don't let me down. Shen Hong's right hand rotated the thumb ring on his left hand. His dark brown eyes flashed with a cold light. Hearing Shen Hong's deep voice, Shen Ming's heart trembled for no reason. Aside from himself, the lives of his family are all in the hands of Shen Hong. He can only fight. Chapter 91. Glory City's city, Lord's mansion, endless courtyards, magnificent and magnificent. Pavilions, small bridges, and flowing water, the scenery was picturesque. At the same time, this place is heavily guarded. Any random guard is a silver rank fighter. Occasionally, you can see some gold rank fighters patrolling back and forth. It's said that some courtyards even have black gold rank fighters and demon spiritualists. This is the core area of Glory City. Nye Li and Nye, you were arranged to stay in one of the courtyards. As long as it's not a black gold rank expert attacking the City Lord's mansion, this place is extremely safe. It can be seen that a genius like Nye Li is highly valued. Big brother Nye Li, why are we staying in the City Lord's mansion? Nye Yu timidly asked. Ever since she entered the City Lord's mansion, she has been very nervous. Because it's safe here. Nye Li smiled and patted Nye Yu's shoulder. You don't have to be afraid. With your big brother Nye Li here, you can be assured. Furthermore, the City Lord's daughter is your sister-in-law. In the future, when you see her, just call her sister-in-law, okay? Sister-in-law? Oh! Nye Yu raised her head and looked at Nye Li in astonishment. Since when did big brother Nye Li find a sister-in-law for him? Furthermore, it's the City Lord's daughter? Nye Yu was filled with doubt. However, Nye Li did not explain. The City Lord probably never thought that his action of protecting a genius would actually lead a wolf into the house. From the beginning, Nye Li didn't have any good intentions. TSK, he's already in the City Lord's mansion. Usually he'll be cultivating. When he's bored, he can even tease Yi Ziyun. Life is really leisurely. If there wasn't the Sacred Family and the Dark Guild, then there wouldn't be so many demon beasts attacking. For his future life, He can only think of a way to get rid of the sacred family that's right under his nose. In his previous life, if it wasn't for the betrayal of the sacred family, Glory City wouldn't have fallen so easily. The root of the problem usually comes from within. Nia Li is still a 2-star silver rank. However, in terms of strength, it shouldn't be a problem for him to suppress a 1-star or 2-star gold rank. However, this is still far from enough. He has to make use of his time to train. Is there anything that can quickly increase my strength? Nia Li suddenly slapped his head. How could I have forgotten about this? I actually forgot to enter the heavenly sacred border. In St. Laurent College, the only thing that he cares about is the heavenly sacred border. Let's prepare first and find a chance to go to heavenly sacred border. Nia Li said after thinking about it. Nia Li sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Nia Yu also obediently sat beside Nia Li and cultivated. She was very sensible and did not make any noise to disturb Nia Li. Instead, she concentrated on cultivating. 1 day, 2 days, as time passed, Nia Li and Nia Yu were doing quite well here. Apart from not being able to go to the core area of the city lord's mansion, there were no restrictions. Moreover, 3 meals were delivered by someone, and outsiders could visit at any time. It is said that in a few days, the city lord and EMO will personally meet Nia Li. Therefore, the surrounding maids and guards were very courteous to the siblings, Nia Li and Nia Yu. Nia Li's cultivation steadily increased. On the 5th day, his cultivation finally increased again. His soul force reached 3-star silver rank. After reaching 3-star silver rank, Nia Li did not continue to charge upwards. At the beginning, it's best not to increase his cultivation too quickly. It's better to have some time to settle down. There's no need to rush. He blinked his eyes. After being in the city lord's mansion for so many days, Yi Ziyun did not come to look for him. As the evening approached, the afterglow of the setting sun shone on the city lord's mansion, making the building look even more magnificent. It's probably because a girl's skin is thin and can't bring herself to do it. Seems like I can only inconvenience myself and go look for you. Nia Li thought about it and chuckled. He looked at Nia Yu and said, Xiaoyu, I'll go look for your sister-in-law. You stay here and cultivate properly. Oh, Nia Yu's big watery eyes looked at Nia Li in doubt. How is big brother Nia Li going to look for sister-in-law? Although she has doubts in her heart, she did not ask and obediently stayed in the yard to cultivate. After Nia Li stepped out of the yard, he summoned the shadow devil demon spirit and disappeared without a trace. The few gold rank fighters guarding the side of Nia Li's yard felt a trace of a strange aura. They vigilantly looked around, but did not discover anything. Only then did they retract their gaze, thinking that it was just their misconception. The shadow devil demon spirit's void form combat technique is still not up to par. Its ability to hide its aura is still not strong enough. It can still fool a gold rank opponent, but if it were a black gold rank or even a legend rank expert, it would definitely be discovered by them. Nia Li thought to himself as he headed towards the yard that Yi Ziyun is staying in. Although Nia Li has never been here before, he has heard from Yi Ziyun about the city lord's mansion. He also knows where Yi Ziyun is staying. Stealing the daughter of the city lord, it's really a little exciting. Nia Li thought to himself and couldn't help but lightly smile. The city lord's mansion is filled with experts, but Nia Li entered it as if it's an uninhabited place. Gold rank fighters are of no threat to Nia Li at all. A small yard appeared in Nia Li's line of sight. It's a unique yard filled with all kinds of flowers and trees. Bursts of fragrance came from the yard. Looking from afar, you can see an exquisite 2-story building within the walls. This is where Yi Ziyun lives. Nia Li easily passed through the door of the small yard. After removing the void form, Nia Li casually walked in. On a rock in the corner of the small yard, Yi Ziyun is sitting cross-legged, cultivating. Her soul force revolved around her body, and a faintly discernible white figure appeared behind her. This white figure is wearing a fluttering white robe. She has a beautiful face and a white ice crown on her head, giving her an indescribable nobility. This demon spirit is the Snow Queen. Among the demon beasts, it's the most human-like demon beast. Legend has it that the Snow Queen is the incarnation of a goddess from the ancient times. The Snow Queen is very rare. Furthermore, it can use very powerful snow-wind combat skills. For Yi Ziyun, who cultivates the 9 revolving ice phoenix technique, it's definitely a good match. Nia Li's gaze fell on Yi Ziyun's body. His nose suddenly felt hot, almost having a nosebleed. Yi Ziyun should have just finished bathing. Her hair is still wet, adding a bit of cuteness to her temperament. At the same time, she's only wearing a thin veil, vaguely showing her soft breasts. This scene made Nia Li recall his previous life. That night, under the moonlight, Yi Ziyun was as pure as a goddess. The two of them hugged each other, listening to each other's breathing. Nia Li's hand gently kneaded that pair of soft breasts. Some people say that the proudest moment of a man is holding his first love's breasts. Nia Li took a deep breath. Although the current Yi Ziyun has not grown up yet, she has already grown into a slender and beautiful woman. After cultivating the 9 revolving ice phoenix technique, her skin is so soft that it could be broken by the wind, making her even more alluring. At this moment, Yi Ziyun, who was cultivating, felt something. She suddenly opened her eyes and shouted, "Who?" When she saw that it's Nieli, she relaxed and asked in puzzlement, "Why are you here? Why did you come here?" If it was someone else, suddenly appearing in this courtyard, Yi Ziyun would certainly suspect the other party's intentions. Even if it was someone she was very familiar with, it was impossible for Yi Ziyun to completely let down her vigilance. But even Yi Ziyun herself did not know that when she saw Nieli, she subconsciously relaxed. "I came to take a look. Your courtyard is very unique, but it must be very boring to live alone. How about I move in and live together with you?" Nieli looked around, seemingly very satisfied, and nodded his head. Yi Ziyun's eyes glazed over at Nieli. She was ashamed and resentful at the same time. This person, how can he be so shameless to this extent? Did I say that I'm very bored living here? Even if I'm very bored living here, I won't let you move in. Chapter 92. Yi Ziyun suddenly thought of something and exclaimed, "Nieli, quickly turn your head." Yi Ziyun blushed and anxiously stamped her feet. "What's wrong?" Nieli blinked and looked a few more times. This was not something that could be seen at any time. Wouldn't it be a loss if he turned his head? "Nieli, how can you be like this? Yi Ziyun looked angry and hurriedly took out a piece of clothing from the spatial ring to cover it. At this moment, she was confused. Since she was a child, it was the first time that a boy saw her like this. "It's not like I haven't seen it before." Nieli muttered, then slowly turned around and said with a smile, "You put on your clothes. I won't look." "You can't turn your head, or I'll ignore you again." Yi Ziyun didn't know what to say, so she could only use this threat. A rustling sound came from behind Nieli, which made people's imagination run wild. But this time, Nieli didn't turn his head to look. He didn't want to force the beautiful girl behind him. No matter what, today's trip was profitable. "Okay, you can turn around." Hearing Yi Ziyun's voice, Nieli turned his head and found that Yi Ziyun had put on a white dress. Her delicate purple long hair was a little wet, draped over her shoulders, looking gentle and elegant. Her white skin was like a freshly peeled egg. Her big watery eyes twinkled as if they could speak. Her small red lips and white skin were more distinct. A pair of small dimples, evenly distributed on both sides of her cheeks, and there was a touch of seductive blush on her face. Such an attractive appearance made Nieli dumbfounded. "Nieli, I will remember today's matter. I will definitely find you to settle accounts." Yi Ziyun angrily looked at Nieli, but even her angry appearance was exceptionally beautiful. She didn't know why, but Nya Li's scorching gaze gave her a strange feeling in her heart. I forgot that you still owe me a favor. Nya Li smiled and looked at Yi Ziyun. I also saw you, so let's call it quits. No, these are two different things. I will return that favor to you. I can't let this matter go. Yi Ziyun said with dissatisfaction. She felt that she had suffered too much. Nya Li had seen everything. If that's the case, why don't I let you watch me? Nya Li said as he undressed. Who wants to see you? Yi Ziyun stamped her feet and quickly covered her eyes. She was really helpless. How could this guy Nya Li be like this? He was simply too shameless. But she didn't know why, but in Yi Ziyun's heart there was a faint ripple. As the daughter of the city lord, she didn't even have a friend. How could there be such a person who could tease her so unscrupulously? Because of the existence of Nya Li, her originally monotonous life had added a bit of a different color. Since you don't want to see, then forget it. Nya Li shrugged, and the corner of his mouth slightly raised. Looking at Yi Ziyun's cute appearance, there was a faint sense of warmth in his heart. It was great to be able to be reborn and see Yi Ziyun again. He would never let God down. Nya Li looked around casually, and then walked toward Yi Ziyun's small building. What are you doing? Yi Ziyun saw Nya Li's action, but she asked anxiously, Since I'm here, aren't you going to invite me to visit your boudoir? Isn't that too rude? Nya Li walked straight to Yi Ziyun's small building. Rude? Yi Ziyun was going crazy. Who is the rude one? Who broke into a girl's yard without knocking on the door, and then wanted to visit a girl's boudoir? Nya Li, you stop! Yi Ziyun shouted anxiously. How could her boudoir be broken into by others? With a whoosh, Nya Li had already slipped into Yi Ziyun's small building like a loach. He hadn't seen Yi Ziyun's boudoir in his previous life, so his heart was full of curiosity. He didn't know what Yi Ziyun's boudoir looked like. After entering the small building, he walked all the way into Yi Ziyun's boudoir. Yi Ziyun's boudoir was decorated very delicately. There were all kinds of carved decorations, and the pink curtain showed a bit of sweetness. Nya Li looked around in a very fresh way. He looked behind the screen. Next to him, there was a wooden barrel there, and it was still steaming. Yi Ziyun had just taken a bath here and then went out to cultivate. Thinking of Yi Ziyun bathing in the wooden barrel, Nya Li couldn't help but feel his heart burning. Yi Ziyun hurriedly ran in. Nya Li, how can you break into a girl's boudoir? Quickly get out. Yi Ziyun said anxiously, but in the face of the rascal Nya Li, she was completely helpless. It's nothing, just looking at the boudoir. I won't get pregnant. Nya Li took a deep breath. There was a familiar faint fragrance here. It was the smell of Yi Ziyun. Pregnant. Yi Ziyun's eyes widened. Her expression was as if she was struck by lightning. What was in Nya Li's head? She simply wanted to break open Nya Li's head and take a look. The hot water is ready. You go out first. I'll take a bath first. Nya Li quickly took off his clothes and then jumped into the wooden barrel. He immediately let out a comfortable groan. So comfortable. Yi Ziyun was simply going crazy. When Nya Li came here, it was like he was at his own home. She had just finished washing the wooden barrel and hadn't had time to pour it out. How could he jump in? And Nya Li actually shamelessly stripped his clothes in front of her. Yi Ziyun was deeply powerless. If she stayed here, would she have to watch Nya Li take a bath? Yi Ziyun could only helplessly retreat. In the small courtyard, Yi Ziyun's thoughts were in a mess. She sat on a stone, and her slender fingers kept breaking a grass stem. Although she was bullied by Nya Li, Yi Ziyun's heart wasn't unhappy. She couldn't tell what kind of emotion was in her heart. What a hateful fellow, Yi Ziyun thought angrily. Perhaps she was really too lonely. She usually didn't have any friends in the academy. After her mother passed away, her father and grandfather were also busy with their own things and rarely accompanied her. So when someone came to bother her, she would feel very happy. Although Nia Li was indeed a bit of a rascal, she didn't hate Nia Li at all. Nia Li understood Yi Ziyun's character very well. That was why he did such a thing. He wouldn't let Yi Ziyun alienate him. The warm water still had the fragrance of Yi Ziyun. If they could take a bath together, that scene would be wonderful. Thinking about it, Nia Li's heart couldn't help but speed up a bit. But the road was long, and Nia Li knew that if he wanted to reach that step, he still had to work hard. At this moment, there was a knock on the door of the courtyard. Hearing this sound, Yi Ziyun's face suddenly changed. This knock on the door, it was obviously her father coming. Nia Li was still in the room. It's over. At this time, Nia Li also heard the knock on the door. He was immediately dumbfounded. This time it's big. Thinking about the stern and cold face of Yi Ziyun's father, Nia Li suddenly had a headache. In Nia Li's heart, Yi Ziyun was his woman. That's why he was so casual. This had nothing to do with acting like a hooligan. Nia Li wouldn't do the same thing to Xiaoning. In the process of rushing the rankings, please vote for me. Chapter 93. In his previous life, Nia Li didn't have much contact with Yi Ziyun's father. However, he knows that this father-in-law of his is a stone-hearted person with a weird temperament. He's extremely hard to deal with. Nia Li heard from Yi Ziyun that Yi Ziyun's father is extremely strict. Since young, his relationship with Yi Ziyun wasn't that good. If such a father-in-law were to find out that he's naked in his daughter's room, who knows what kind of things he might do? Nia Li swept away his previously leisurely state of mind and hurriedly put on a pair of pants. Afterwards, he summoned the Shadow Devil Demon Spirit, activated the concealment ability, and moved outside. He has to quickly slip away, or else he won't have the chance anymore. The City Lord is a black gold rank demon spiritualist, an existence closest to legend rank. At this moment, in the small courtyard, a robust man walked in with majestic steps. He wore a gray robe, his hair was tied behind his head, and his resolute face looked very cold. His body emitted a biting cold aura, a kind of imposing aura of a superior. Yi Ziyun was scared stiff. She never thought that her father would come in at this moment. She was dumbfounded. One must know that Nia Li is still bathing in her room. If her father were to find out about this, who knows what would happen? Yi Zong frowned his brows and solemnly asked, Yun, why don't you look good? Have you been sick recently? And no. Yi Ziyun hurriedly shook her head. Her heart was in a panic. She doesn't know if Nia Li, who's in the room, knows that her father is here. Please don't get found out. If Nia Li is found out under her father's rage, Nia Li would be in danger. At this moment, Yi Ziyun was worried about Nia Li's safety. Yi Zong suddenly sensed something and frowned. Why is there someone else's aura here? Hearing Yi Zong's words, Yi Ziyun was shocked in her heart. One must know that her father is a black gold rank demon spiritualist and has already reached the pinnacle of black gold rank demon spiritualist. He's only a step away from legend rank. Therefore, his perception is very sharp. How is this possible? There's only me here. Yi Ziyun hurriedly waved her hand, looking a little flustered. Yi Zong looked at Yi Ziyun coldly. He could tell at a glance that Yi Ziyun was lying. Not only was there someone else's aura here, but it was also a man. Yi Zong coldly snorted, and a majestic soul force enveloped the entire courtyard. At this moment, Nia Li, who was preparing to leave the courtyard from the back, felt a powerful soul force descending from the sky. He immediately did not dare to move. Indeed, what he's afraid of has come. He desperately converged his aura and released all of his soul force into the Shadow Devil Demon Spirit. Yi Zong's soul force searched again and again. A moment later, it locked onto Nia Li's surroundings. Nia Li immediately complained. In this life, he hasn't been cultivating for a long time. His soul force is only 2-star silver rank. If he could reach gold rank and use the Shadow Devil Demon Spirit's void form concealment, he would definitely not be discovered. But now, Yizong should have already discovered his location. It's actually the void form combat skill. I never thought that he would have some ability. He's not an idiot. Yizong coldly snorted. He's experienced and knowledgeable, so he still has some understanding of the void form combat skill. A surge of soul force surged out, turned into ropes, and tied Nieli up. Under the powerful soul force's suppression, Nia Li's void form combat skill finally lost its effect, and his body slowly appeared. Boom! Yizong's soul force ruthlessly threw Nia Li onto the ground, causing cracks to appear on the ground. Cough, cough! Nia Li instantly vomited a mouthful of blood. His body was injured, and his internal organs were shaken. However, Yizong was obviously lenient. Otherwise, with his strength, he could have killed Nia Li in one strike. Nia Li, how are you? Seeing this scene, Yizong suddenly became anxious. She ran to Nia Li's side and supported Nia Li. Frowning, she angrily looked at Yizong and said, "Father, how could you injure my friend for no reason?" "Friend," Yizong coldly snorted. Glaring at Yizong, he said, "You explain to me, what the hell is going on here?" "I'm Nieli. Greetings to the city lord." Nieli operated his soul force to heal himself. Facing Yizong, he cupped his hands and said, no matter what, the other party was still Yizong's father, his future father-in-law. Although this was the first time they met, it was a bit awkward. "Nieli, I have a slight impression. You're the kid who was recruited into the city, Lord's mansion? Tell me, what were you doing in my daughter's yard?" Yizong coldly looked at Nieli. Nieli was only wearing a pair of pants. His upper body was naked. His gloomy gaze swept at Nieli, then swept at Yizong. "Of course, I'm here to visit. I'm Ziyun's classmate. Knowing that she lives here, I came to take a look." Nieli bitterly smiled. "Visit? Is there a need to take off your clothes when visiting?" Yizong angrily snorted. Like a bolt of lightning, it bombarded Nieli's heart. Looking at Yizong, his face sunk. "Ziyun, I'm very disappointed in you. I never thought that you would do such a thing to ruin the family's reputation." Hearing Yizong's words, Yizong's body slightly trembled. Her eyes reddened and her expression was lonely. Seeing Yizong's expression, Nieli raised his head, took a glance at Yizong, and said, "Uncle, please don't misunderstand. There's nothing between me and Ziyun. If there's any problem, come at me. It has nothing to do with Ziyun." Hearing Nieli's words, Yizong angrily walked towards Nieli. Step by step, the entire yard was filled with sand and stones. When a black gold rank demon spiritualist is enraged, it's extremely terrifying. No matter if it's Nieli or Yizong, both of them felt a terrifying pressure. "Come at you? At least you still have some backbone. Since you've ruined my Snow Wind family's reputation, don't even think of leaving here alive." Yizong waved his right hand. A surge of soul force that was like a surging tide was sent towards Nieli. Nieli's face slightly changed. He thought that Yizong would, at most, lock him up and punish him. He never thought that Yizong would actually be so ruthless. With his current strength, there's no way for him to fight against a black gold rank demon spiritualist. Nieli felt depressed in his heart. If only his cultivation was a little higher, reaching gold rank, then he would at least have the strength to fight. Nieli's heart was filled with regret. If he were to die here, it wouldn't be worth it. The entire Glory City is still waiting for him to save it. Boom! His soul realm shook. Nieli was sent flying with blood spurting out from his mouth. He slammed into the wall and fell down. "You dare to be presumptuous in my city, Lord's mansion, with just this bit of strength?" Yizong took a step out with his right foot. Another surge of soul force surged out. "Father, don't!" When Yizong saw this scene, sparkling tears flowed down her cheeks. She leaped up and stood in front of Nieli. Along with the surge of soul force, the Snow Queen's image appeared above her. The sky full of snow formed a powerful storm, instantly forming a thick wall of snow in front of her. Boom! Under the bombardment of Yi Zhong's soul force, this wall of snow wind instantly shattered into pieces. The difference in strength is too big. Even if Yi Zhong doesn't summon his demon spirit, he can still easily defeat Nieli and Yi Ziyun, who have summoned their demon spirits. You actually integrated with the Snow Queen's demon spirit and still dare to fight against your father. You've really grown capable. Get out of my way. Yi Zhong's eyes coldly stared at Yi Ziyun. Yi Zhong's entire body was emitting a violent and frightening aura. This kind of aura made Yi Ziyun feel unfamiliar. She cried and said, "Father, I beg you, let Nieli go. As long as you let Nieli go, I'm willing to accept punishment." Looking at Yi Zhong's cold expression, which was like a sword, Nieli wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and slowly stood up. Soul force revolved around his body, slowly forming huge wings on his back. This is soul force manifestation. However, the wings formed by Nieli are several times bigger than the wings formed by Xiaoninger. Furthermore, there are 3 pairs of them. 6 pairs of huge wings slowly flapped behind him. A majestic power was fighting against Yi Zhong's soul force. The reason why I'm not taking action is because you're Ziyun's father, not because I'm afraid of you. Cold words slowly came out from Nieli's mouth. His sharp gaze was like a sharp sword. At this moment, Nieli was floating in the sky like a god. His eyes emitted a frightening aura. Chapter 94. Ziyun, get out of the way, Nieli said in a deep voice. His gaze was as solid as it could be. He had completely stimulated the potential within his soul realm, causing his soul force to reach its peak. Feeling the boundless soul force coming from Nieli, Yi Zhong's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. Nieli is still so young, but he's actually able to suppress his aura on a certain level. Such talent is indeed a little shocking. However, he still coldly stared at Nieli. "Nieli, don't! I beg you." Yi Ziyun's face was filled with tears. Nieli coldly stared at Yi Zhong and furiously said, "Are you worthy of being a father? Since young, have you ever cared about Ziyun? Apart from asking her to keep cultivating, what else have you done for her? Do you know the loneliness in her heart? She doesn't have a single friend in the academy. In the city lord's mansion, no matter if it's you or that old fart EMO, you're both busy with your own matters and don't care about Ziyun at all. I'm only good friends with Ziyun. Even if there's something going on between us, is there anyone like you who would kill someone without any reason? Have you ever cared about Ziyun's feelings? All you care about is the reputation of the Snow Wind family. Brat, do you know what you're saying? You're courting death. You dare to be so impudent towards me?" Yi Zhong became even more enraged. With a deep roar, waves of demon spiritual aura emitted from his body. An even more powerful soul force came from all directions and suppressed Nieli. Boom! Nieli was sent flying. Boom! 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 Nieli's soul force continued to crazily clash with Yi Zhong's soul force, causing explosions in the air. Nieli was sent flying again and again. His body was riddled with injuries. Those who are afraid of death are cowards. Even if I die, I still have to say it. Do you think that the city lord is that great? I don't put you in my eyes. Isn't he just a black gold, rank demon spiritualist? Give me a year, and I'll be able to defeat you? So what if a black gold, rank demon spiritualist is amazing? I've even seen those above the legend rank. Covered with cuts and bruises, Nieli spat out a mouthful of saliva with one of his eyes half open. Damn it, if you insist on fighting me now, I'll use the soul uniting technique to teach you a lesson even if I have to die. If he used the soul unification technique, both sides would definitely suffer. Nieli didn't want to do that, nor did he want to make Yi Ziyun sad. After all, the person opposite him was Yi Ziyun's father. 1 year? You want to defeat a black gold, rank demon spiritualist within a year. Yi Zhong coldly smiled. Looking at Nieli, the corner of his mouth was filled with disdain. What? Do you want to try? Nya Li had both of his hands on his waist. Since he has already let go, he pointed at Yi Zong and cursed. If you give me a year, I'll ruthlessly step on you. This is what you said. If you can defeat me within a year, I won't pursue today's matter. And you, Yi Ziyun. Yi Zong coldly glanced at Yi Ziyun. Deep within his eyes, a hint of undetectable gentleness flashed. He coldly said, If you can't reach gold rank within a year, the two of you are not allowed to see each other anymore. Yi Zong's soul force fiercely bombarded Nya Li's body, sending Nya Li flying. He slowly turned around and walked out. Don't forget what you said today. With a huge explosion, Nya Li's soul force scattered. The 3 pairs of wings on his back were also broken into pieces. His internal organs were displaced, but his life wasn't in danger. He was gasping for air. At that moment, he felt that he had just brushed shoulders with the god of death. The strength that Yi Zong displayed in that last attack was much stronger than an ordinary black gold rank demon spiritualist. Yi Zong has already reached the pinnacle of black gold rank demon spiritualist, only a step away from legend rank. Rest assured, I will definitely not go back on the words that I said. Nya Li solemnly said, looking at Yi Zong's back figure. Seeing Yi Zong slowly leaving, Nya Li's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt. He originally thought that Yi Zong would disregard everything to protect the reputation of the Snow Wind family and kill him. He never thought that Yi Zong would actually let him go. There's a problem with the layout of this chapter. The number of words is a little less. Therefore, it's together with the next chapter. Chapter 95. Yi Ziyun silently sent Nya Li to the entrance of the small courtyard. After a moment of silence, Yi Ziyun lowered her head and said softly, Nya Li, don't come looking for me in the future. Why? Nya Li slightly frowned and looked at Yi Ziyun. Yi Ziyun raised her head and looked at Nya Li. Her clear eyes were filled with deep sadness. She asked, Aren't you afraid of death? Aren't you afraid that my father will kill you? Kill me? If your father wanted to kill me, he would have already done it. Nya Li's eyes were deep. Or at least he has expelled me from the city, Lord's mansion. As long as I am expelled from the city, Lord's mansion, I will definitely die. The Dark Guild will definitely not let me go, but he didn't do it. Then why didn't he do it? A trace of confusion flashed in Yi Ziyun's eyes. Nya Li glanced at the direction where Yi Zong left. That stalwart back was like an iron tower. Under the sunset, it was so lonely and desolate. For a moment, Nya Li suddenly understood a lot. He said, This is a matter between men. In any case, just listen to me in the future. At this time, Nya Li understood that it wasn't that Yi Zong didn't care about Yi Ziyun, but that Yi Zong's shoulders were shouldering too much. Hey, Nya Li, why should I listen to you? Yi Ziyun suddenly pouted in dissatisfaction. She was really wrong today. Although the relationship between Yi Zong and her wasn't that close, it was the first time that her father punished her so coldly. Yi Ziyun felt a little pain in her heart. Yi Ziyun's angry look was particularly attractive. Cough, cough. Nya Li coughed out a few more mouthfuls of blood and said with a bitter smile, Are you going to let me go back like this? How are you? Seeing Nya Li's appearance, Yi Ziyun immediately asked with concern and quickly supported Nya Li. No, my injury is too serious. I think I'll have to stay here for 2 days. Nya Li said while clutching his chest. Yi Ziyun looked at Nya Li, and her eyes fell into a daze. Was there anyone more shameless than Nya Li? What the hell was in his head? He had just been injured by his father, and he still wanted to stay here for 2 days? Was Nya Li's brain filled with paste? Wasn't he afraid that his father would really kill him out of anger? At this time, in a corner of the city lord's mansion, 2 figures stood proudly. One of them is Yi Zong, who just came out from Yi Ziyun's yard. The other one is the president of the Association of Alchemists, Guyan. City Lord, you've injured him too much. If the master behind him gets angry, it won't be a good thing for Glory City. Gu Yen said, bitterly smiling as he looked at Yi Zong. Injured too much? Yi Zong's brows were filled with killing intent. I'm already being polite enough by not killing him. This brat actually dared to take liberties with my daughter in my city, Lord's mansion, ruining my daughter's innocence. Gu Yen was also helpless. Nye Li's actions were too much. Taking liberties with the city, Lord's daughter in the city, Lord's mansion. Only Nye Li would do such a thing. The city, Lord not killing Nye Li, is already very kind. Then why didn't the city lord expel him from the city, Lord's mansion? What's the use of expelling him from the city, Lord's mansion? I don't know what demon spirit this brat integrated with, but he actually has the void form combat skill. In the city, Lord's mansion, only a few black gold rank demon spiritualists can discover his location. To him, the city lord's mansion is like an uninhabited land. Furthermore, I don't know what happened to Ziyun, but she's being controlled by this brat. This is really infuriating. Don't tell me that I really have to find a secret place to lock my daughter up? Yi Zong coldly snorted. This brat is still so young, and he's already a gold, rank demon spiritualist. Furthermore, he contributed a few elixir formulas. His contribution to Glory City can be considered as huge. In the future, Glory City's safety might have to rely on him. Even if it's for Glory City, I can only endure this. Hearing Yi Zong's words, Gu Yen didn't know why, but he found it a little funny. The dignified city lord was actually helpless against a 13-year-old brat. A 13-year-old dared to enter the city, Lord's mansion, to pick up girls. Just what is this brat's brain made of? In my opinion, if Ziyun were to follow him, she might be wronged. I've heard that until now, this brat has not only provoked one girl, the little girl from the Fenglei family and the girl from the Huyen family. This brat's future wife definitely won't only be one. Yi Zong was extremely angry. Then what does the city lord intend to do? Gu Yen looked at Yi Zong, lightly smiled, and asked, what else can I do? I can only endure it. Yi Zong clenched his teeth. Ever since he became the city lord, he has never compromised like this. If that brat showed a trace of cowardice and hid behind Ziyun, even if I have to offend the super expert behind him, I will still kill him. However, at least he has some backbone. Even if he has a lot of women in the future, I don't think this brat will turn his back on Ziyun. Hearing Yi Zong's words, Gu Yen felt slightly relieved in his heart. It's good that this matter hasn't reached the point of no return. Gu Yen, do you know what is the soul restoration technique? Yi Zong suddenly thought of something, looked at Gu Yen, and asked. Gu Yen shook his head and said, I'm not too sure either. According to what this brat said, if he used the soul restoration technique, he can even defeat me. However, it seems that the side effect of the soul restoration technique is also very big. After using it, he will undoubtedly die. It should be the ultimate skill that the person behind him taught him. If there's a way President Gu Yen can help me get the soul restoration technique out of this brat's mouth. Yi Zong went silent for a moment and said. Gu Yen was stunned for a moment, then asked, could it be that the city lord wants to use the soul restoration technique? This is absolutely not possible. Didn't the city lord say that the soul restoration technique has a huge side effect? Yi Zong went silent for a moment, then sighed. This kind of secret technique, unless it's a last resort, I will definitely not use it. However, it's better to be prepared. Recently, the Dark Guild is getting more and more impatient. Could it be that there's news from Lord Yumo's side? Gu Yen looked at Yi Zong and asked in puzzlement. That's right, the Dark Guild wants to command the demon beasts to destroy Glory City. Command the demon beasts to destroy Glory City? What's in it for them? Gu Yen asked, feeling a chill in his heart. Are the people from the Dark Guild crazy? If the skin doesn't exist, how can the hair attach to it? If Glory City is destroyed, can they be spared? They might have other methods to avoid the demon beast's attacks. Yi Zong said in a solemn tone. Gu Yan thought for a while and said, "Why don't the city lord get in touch with Nye Li? Who knows? The person behind Nye Li might have some methods." "Beg him?" Yi Zong's face sank. "I'm already being polite to him by not killing him. It's absolutely impossible for me to beg him." Hearing Yi Zong's words, Gu Yan couldn't help bitterly smiling. He doesn't know if he can think of other ways to mediate. At this moment, in Yi Ziyun's room, Nye Li was sitting on the bed, cultivating. Although he was seriously injured by Yi Zong, which caused cracks to appear in Nye Li's soul realm, he still managed to make a breakthrough and progress. As he cultivated, traces of soul force revolved around his body. After his soul force took shape, Nye Li's cultivation had a clear breakthrough. His soul force has reached 3-star silver rank and will soon be able to take another step forward. Yi Ziyun doesn't dare to stay in the same room as Nye Li. She adjusted her breathing in the small courtyard. Thinking of her father's stern face, she couldn't help sighing. Her mother had passed away a long time ago, and her relationship with her father had never been that close. Ever since she was young, her father had been very strict with her, making her cultivate non-stop. Therefore, her cultivation and knowledge in various aspects had far surpassed those of her age. However, she had never seen a father as strict as he was today. "Nye Li, what should I do with you?" Thinking of how Nye Li stood in front of her despite knowing that he couldn't win, Yi Ziyun's heart rippled. Although Nye Li is a little shameless and doesn't know what's good for him, he's still very brave at crucial moments. Her heart was filled with entanglement and distress. At the same time, her father's reaction caused Yi Ziyun to be deeply puzzled. She thought that her father would do something terrifying under his rage. She never thought that her father would only give her a request, which is to reach gold, rank demon spiritualist within a year. Yi Ziyun really wants to know what her father is thinking. However, no matter what, she will still work hard to train and definitely won't let her father down. Regarding the DemonGods Chronicles, I believe many readers have already read Chapter 95. Snail has indeed used the title Demon God Era to publish it in other places. At that time, it was also used as a manga script. Now that he is publishing it again, please support him. In addition, the DemonGods Chronicles manga will be published on Tencent's Cartoon Network and other places. Snail really likes the manga version of the DemonGods Chronicles. Everyone can take a look. Chapter 96. Nye Li, on the other hand, did not have that many worries. He never thought that his luck would be so bad. The first time he came here, he was met by the city lord. However, Yi Zong did not do anything to him. He probably found out something from the Association of Alchemists. Since that's the case, there's nothing for Nye Li to be afraid of. Not long from now, he will completely subdue Yi Zong and make him obediently offer his daughter to him with both hands at the thought of this. Nye Li revealed a faint smile. For the sake of this ambitious goal and ideal, he still has to work hard. Nye Li swallowed a few elixirs, sat cross-legged, and started cultivating. He circulated the Heavenly God cultivation technique and charged towards 4-star silver rank. In the small courtyard, ever since she started cultivating the 9 revolving ice phoenix technique and integrated with the Snow Queen demon spirit, Yi Ziyun's cultivation has also increased by leaps and bounds. Compared to Nye Li, she has also reached 3-star silver rank. After all, her cultivation technique is much more advanced compared to Nye Li's Heavenly God cultivation technique. The power of the Heavenly God cultivation technique can only be clearly displayed towards end. Among the cultivation techniques of Yi Ziyun, Xiao Ninger, Daozit, Lu Piao, and the rest, Nye Li's Heavenly God cultivation technique's progress is the slowest. The difficulty of cultivating it is also several times more difficult than the rest. Of course, after successfully cultivating it, the power will be the strongest. After cultivating it to the same realm, even if Yi Ziyun and the rest joined hands, they still might not be Nye Li's opponent. The cultivation technique's difficulty is the highest, but the speed of cultivation is the same as the others. This is the advantage of Nya Li's rebirth. Holy Emperor, wait until I cultivate the Heavenly God cultivation technique to the pinnacle level. After that, I will cultivate another 7 God rank experts. This time, let's see who is stronger. Nya Li thought to himself. The reason why he had lost in his previous life was because his cultivation level was indeed slightly lower than the Holy Emperor's. And the other reason was that the Holy Emperor had a few deity-level demonic beasts by his side, constantly attacking and exhausting his strength. That was why he had lost so quickly. In this life, he definitely wouldn't repeat the same mistake. In addition to increasing his strength, he also wanted to bring along a few powerful helpers. He couldn't be alone like in his previous life. After sitting cross-legged and cultivating for more than an hour, Nya Li's injuries were finally almost healed. Nya Li, how are you recovering? Yi Ziyan looked at Nya Li and narrowed her eyes. Hearing Yi Ziyan's words, Nya Li thought that Yi Ziyan was concerned about him, so he nodded and said, I'm almost recovered. All right, if that's the case, you have to go. If you continue to stay here, I won't be polite to you anymore. Yi Ziyan's beautiful face stiffened as she pushed Nya Li out. Ziyun, I'm deeply in love with you, and this is how you treat me. Ah, my internal injuries have yet to recover. I need to rest for at least another 2 days before I can walk. Ah, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to vomit blood. I won't believe you anymore in the future. If you don't leave, I'll use a broom to chase you away. Yi Ziyun clenched her teeth. Nya Li is too shameless. You can't be so heartless, right? Nya Li looked at Yi Ziyun anxiously. You can try. Yi Ziyun placed her hands on her hips and snorted. After today's matter, it's already magnanimous of her to not beat up Nya Li. All right, then I'll go back first. I'll come and find you tomorrow. Yi Ziyun pushed Nya Li out, pouted her lips, placed her hands on her hips, and said hatefully, If you dare to come again tomorrow, you'll see what happens. Ah, then when can I come and find you? Nya Li bitterly looked at Yi Ziyun. With a bang, the door of the small courtyard was closed by Yi Ziyun. Then I'll come the day after tomorrow. Although he was chased out by Yi Ziyun, Nya Li's mood wasn't too bad. With his hands behind his head, he hummed a tune as he walked back to his residence. Looking at the closed door, Yi Ziyun stomped her feet and gritted her teeth in hatred. But then she seemed to think of something and giggled. That smile was bright and beautiful. If it was seen by others, they would definitely stare blankly. She was really helpless towards Nya Li, this shameless guy. But since this matter had already developed to this extent, she had no other choice but to listen to Nya Li. As if she thought of something, Yi Ziyun's cheeks were as red as the morning glow. Nya Li walked, his thoughts drifted as if he had returned to his previous life. In fact, Nya Li didn't know how to pursue a girl. In his previous life, the relationship between him and Yi Ziyun was the result of going through all kinds of life and death trials. After Yi Ziyun was killed by the demonic beast, although he came into contact with a few girls, he didn't have any ambiguous relationship with them. Nya Li's heart had always been thinking about Yi Ziyun. He didn't have the mood to accept other girls. Seeing Yi Ziyun again in this life, Nya Li's happiness could be imagined. But in this life, there weren't all kinds of life and death trials. Nya Li didn't know how to get Yi Ziyun's favor. He could only shamelessly go forward. Anyway, even if Yi Ziyun hated him, he would still shamelessly stay by her side because Nya Li didn't want to lose her again. At least it was better than doing nothing. Nya Li thought in his heart. No matter how Yi Ziyun treated him, Nya Li would always stay by Yi Ziyun's side. In Nya Li's yard, Nya Yu was also diligently cultivating. After seeing Nya Li, she suddenly revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Nya Li Gidge, you're back? Nya Yu hurriedly walked up. After Nya Li left, she had been very worried. Nya Li patted Nya Yu's little head. Did Xiao Yu cultivate well? Xiao Yu is very diligent. The cultivation technique that Nyali Gij gave me is very magical. I'm now a 2-star bronze rank. Nyayu looked at Nyali with sparkling eyes filled with worship. In her heart, Nyali was an omnipotent existence. Not bad. Nyali smiled and nodded his head. Nyayu's cultivation progress is quite good. Just when Nyali and Nyayu were chatting, knocking sounds came from the yard's door. When Nyali opened the door, he saw Dowsett, Lu Piao, and the other two. He was a little surprised and asked, "How did you guys come here?" "We heard that you came to the city lord's mansion, so we came to look for you. However, it wasn't easy to find you. We finally managed to find President Gu Yan and got him to give us a travel document. That's how we came in." Lu Piao laughed and said, "You're really powerful, chasing Yi Ziyun all the way to the city lord's mansion. I admire you." Dowsett sized up Nyali and said, "You actually defeated the genius of the sacred family Shinshao? Are you purposely showing off your strength? Otherwise, with your character, you'd be very low-key. Before, my strength was too weak, so I didn't dare to be too flamboyant. But ever since I integrated with a demon spirit, even if I meet someone from the Dark Guild, I have the strength to protect myself. Furthermore, to be able to scam the sacred family, why not?" Nyali said, lightly smiling. Hearing Nya Li's words, Lu Piao, Dowsett, and Bunch couldn't help laughing. "This time, the sacred family has really been scammed by you. 450 million demon spirit coins. Yeah, the patriarch of the sacred family is probably going to vomit blood." Nyali shook his head and said, "450 million demon spirit coins is still unable to shake the foundation of the sacred family. Nyali, you can't be thinking of getting rid of the sacred family, right? That's one of the 3 major families." Lu Piao widened her eyes, looking at Nyali, and said, "Of course, I've scammed the sacred family. The sacred family definitely won't let this go. Sooner or later, they'll find me to settle the debt. However, I also don't intend to let them go." Nya Li's eyes flashed with a chilling light. Seeing Nya Li's expression, Dowsett's heart trembled. Nya Li doesn't look like he's joking. Nya Li is really planning to bring down one of the 3 major families, the sacred family, by himself? This isn't as simple as sparring. "No matter what you want to do, as long as you tell us, we brothers will definitely support you," Dowsett confidently said. If there wasn't Nyali, there wouldn't be him today. No matter what, as long as Nyali opens his mouth, even if he has to sacrifice his life, he won't even frown. "How can I be left out of this matter?" Lu Piao chuckled and said, "Good brothers." Nya Li hammered Dowsett's chest. To have such a group of brothers, even if it's climbing a mountain of swords or going through a sea of flames, they won't even frown. It's the greatest fortune in life. Thinking of Dowsett and Lu Piao, who died for Glory City in his previous life, Nya Li's eyes flashed with tears. In this life, he will definitely not let Glory City fall into the same disastrous situation. Cough, cough. Continue to seek recommendations. Chapter 97. Did you know that Ning entered the heavenly sacred border? Lu Piao suddenly remembered something and said, "She entered the heavenly sacred border? Why didn't she tell me?" Nya Li's expression froze as he asked in shock. "Recently, you first returned to the Tensei family, then participated in the genius battle, and then entered the city, Lord's mansion. It's hard for us to find you." Lu Piao spread her hands and said helplessly, "With Ning Er's talent and cultivation, entering the heavenly sacred border shouldn't be a problem. But we can't rule out accidents." Nyali pondered as he looked at Lu Piao, Dowsett, and the others and said, "Let's go, we'll go too." Nya Li had wanted to go to the heavenly sacred border for a long time because there was a treasure that he needed very much in the heavenly sacred border. This time, when he found out that Ning was in the heavenly sacred border, Nya Li couldn't sit still. After knowing all about Ning Er's past life, Nya Li was very pitiful towards Ning Er's past life. He also admired Ning Er's tenacious character and her courage to love and hate. Ning didn't hide her feelings for him. Although Nia Li already had Yi Ziyun in his heart, no matter what, Ning was still one of the few people that he cherished. If you leave the city lord's mansion, what if something happens? Dowsett frowned and asked, It's fine, I have a way. I'll just dress up and go out. Wei Nan, Zhu Xiangjuan, Zhang Ming, you three stay here and take care of my sister. My room is over there, you guys can stay there. Nia Li looked at the other three and said, Okay, leave it to us. Wei Nan and the other two nodded. Little you stay here and focus on your cultivation. I'll be back in a few days. Nia Li said as he patted Nia Yu's little head. Okay, be careful, big brother Nieli. Come back quickly. Nia Yu nodded sensibly. After giving some instructions, Nia Li changed his appearance into Wei Nan's appearance. Lu Piao, Dowsett, and the others were dumbfounded. Nia Li's disguise technique was too magical. He just casually applied something on his face and changed his appearance. Apart from the clothes, he looked almost exactly the same as Wei Nan. In this world, is there anything that you don't know? Duzade bitterly smiled. I didn't think that you had this trick up your sleeve. Lu Piao opened her eyes wide. With this method, Nia Li didn't need to hide in the city, Lord's mansion. Even if he swaggered on the streets, the Dark Guild wouldn't be able to recognize Nia Li. As an expert, it's necessary to be proficient in all kinds of life-saving methods. Nia Li said with a faint smile. This kind of simple disguise was a piece of cake for him. It wasn't a brilliant method. A true expert could still distinguish a person by their aura. When one cultivated to legend rank, a truly superb disguise technique was to change one's height and aura in addition to one's appearance, making it impossible for the opponent to recognize them. If an ordinary person wanted to kill the reborn Nieli, it would be impossible without using some special methods. Even when he was confronting Yi Ziyun's father, Nia Li still held back some of his methods. However, those methods were too ruthless and would definitely cause both sides to suffer. This was something that Nia Li didn't want to see. No matter what, that was Yi Ziyun's father. Otherwise, even when facing an expert like Yi Ziyun's father, he wouldn't have been beaten so miserably. Oh right, I forgot to give these to you guys. Nia Li waved his right hand and took out 5 demon spirit stones. These were the demon spirits that Nia Li had merged with. Every one of them was a god-level growth rate super demon spirit. What are these? Demon spirit stones? Lu Piao placed her hands on her hips and proudly smiled. During this period of time, I've been diligently cultivating at home and broke through to silver rank. My old man was so happy that he rewarded me with a gold rank demon spirit. I've already merged with it, so I don't need it anymore. After merging with a gold rank demon spirit, I'll be able to step onto the peak of the martial path and become a powerful gold rank demon spiritualist. Ha ha ha. I was going to give you a scarlet demonic leopard. That's a god level growth rate demon spirit that can grow to legend rank. Since you don't want it, then forget it. Nia Li shrugged his shoulders and handed the demon spirit stones over to Dowsett and the rest. This is a hell tiger, a berserker type demon spirit. These 3 are divine type, sacred fire type, and sacred healing type demon spirits. They were prepared for you guys. Nia Li looked at Wei Nan, Zhu Xiangjuan, and Zhang Ming. Dowsett and the rest had already decided to follow Nia Li. Therefore, they didn't stand on ceremony with Nia Li and received the demon spirit stones. They curiously examined the demon spirit stones, wondering if these demon spirits were as strong as what Nia Li said. They still don't know what a god level growth rate is. However, since Nia Li said that it could grow to legend rank, it should be an extremely powerful existence. God level growth rate? Grow to legend rank. Is there really such a powerful demon spirit? You said that it can grow to legend rank? Is that true? Dowsett asked, puzzled. Of course it's true. Nia Li nodded his head. Actually, what he didn't say was that the demon spirit stones that he gave to Dowsett and the rest weren't only able to grow to legend rank. The future growth rate is immeasurable. However, even if he told Dowsett and the rest, they probably wouldn't be able to understand. Hee, Nieli, we're good brothers, right? Can you let me take a look at this demon spirit? Lu Piao rubbed her hands and said with a mischievous smile. Seeing Lu Piao's expression, Nieli smiled. He no longer teased Lu Piao. With a wave of his right hand, he threw the scarlet, demonic, leopard demon spirit stone to Lu Piao. Lu Piao, quickly throw away that gold rank demon spirit of yours. You guys can slowly merge with your demon spirit when you get back. We'll go to the college first and enter the heavenly sacred border. Nieli said. Ning is still in the heavenly sacred border, so Nieli is still worried. After all, in his previous life, Nieli never went to the heavenly sacred border. He doesn't know what the heavenly sacred border is like. He only has a rough idea of what's hidden inside. Okay. Lu Piao and Dowsett nodded. The three of them left the city, Lord's Mansion, and headed towards St. Laurent College. St. Laurent College Vice Principal Yi Sheng, Xiaoning, has already been in there for so long. Why hasn't she come out yet? A few teachers nervously asked Yi Sheng. Yi Sheng's brows were also tightly knitted. Xiaoning has indeed stayed in there longer than others. Under normal circumstances, the higher the talent of the student, the longer they will stay in there. As for the less talented ones, they will come out very quickly. However, isn't the time that Xiaoning has stayed in there for a little too long? Vice Principal Yi Sheng, there are 3 students looking for you. A teacher walked in from outside. They're all students from the genius class. Vice Principal Yi Sheng nodded his head and said, Bring them over. A moment later, Nieli and the other 2 were brought over. At this moment, Nieli's disguise had already been removed. When he saw Nieli, Yi Sheng's pupils violently contracted. He has a deep impression of Nieli. During the end-of-the-year test, no matter if it's strength or soul force, Nieli was only a 1-star bronze rank. However, not long after, Nieli participated in the Genius Tournament and displayed strength that is not inferior to a gold rank. Such a shocking change quickly made him realize that something is wrong. The strength test can be faked, but the soul force test, how can it be faked? Even if Yi Sheng cracked his head, he still wouldn't be able to figure it out. However, no matter what, a super genius appearing in the school is something worth celebrating. Vice Principal Yi Sheng, I want to enter the heavenly sacred border. There shouldn't be a problem, right? Nieli looked at Yi Sheng and asked, With your strength, entering the heavenly sacred border won't be a problem at all. Yi Sheng nodded his head. To enter the heavenly sacred border, one must be one of the top few students in the genius class. However, with Nieli's current strength, he is already an invincible existence in the genius class. Then, thank you, Vice Principal. I want to enter the heavenly sacred border now. Nieli cupped his hands towards Yi Sheng and said, Yi Sheng also knows that Xiaoning, and Nieli's relationship is very good. Xiaoning hasn't come out from the heavenly sacred border for a long time, so it's fine to let Nieli go in and take a look. Everyone together sent Nieli to the entrance of the heavenly sacred border. Looking into the distance, a deep door appeared in Nieli's line of sight. In his previous life, Nieli did not enter the heavenly sacred border. His understanding of the heavenly sacred border was obtained from books. With regards to the heavenly sacred border, Nieli is still somewhat curious. Letting Dowsett and Lu Piao wait outside the heavenly sacred border, Nieli directly walked into the heavenly sacred border. The previous 95 chapters have already been posted. Now is the new chapter. Everyone, please support and vote for me. Chapter 98. Nothing will happen to Nieli, right? Dowsett looked at Nieli's disappearing figure and slightly frowned his brows. Regarding an unknown place like the heavenly sacred border, he is still a little worried. Lu Piao laughed and said, Douse it, you're thinking too much. Don't you trust Nieli too much? What kind of matter can trouble Nieli? If you have the time to worry about Nieli, why don't you quickly integrate with your demon spirit? I can't wait to see how strong my little scarlet demonic leopard is. Lu Piao patted her interspatial ring, feeling extremely excited. The two of them looked to the side, found an empty space, and sat down to cultivate while waiting for Nieli. Seeing their actions, Yixing couldn't help feeling gratified. No wonder Dowsett and Lu Piao's cultivation could improve so much. They're simply too hardworking, not willing to waste even a little bit of time. If the other students were as hardworking as Dowsett and Lu Piao, they would be much more at ease. Yisheng and the other mentors went to the side to rest, while Dowsett and Lu Piao focused on integrating with their demon spirits. At this moment, inside the heavenly sacred border, light and shadow flashed before his eyes. Countless scenes flashed before his eyes, as if he was passing through endless time and space. Nieli walked in and looked around. Far away, the grass was lush, the flowers were blooming, the scenery was too beautiful to be imagined. However, after stepping into the heavenly sacred border, Nieli felt his soul realm exploding. His soul force felt like it was about to explode, constantly expanding his soul realm. His soul realm expanded bit by bit. Li's face revealed a painful expression. The feeling of his soul realm being forcefully expanded is extremely uncomfortable. This heavenly sacred border is indeed a holy land for raising soul force. Staying in there for a while, the effect is even more obvious than cultivating outside for several days. His soul realm expanded by a third. The intense pain caused Li's face to twitch. Li forced his eyes open and looked into the distance. He saw a figure sitting cross-legged on the grass in the distance. It vaguely looked like Ning. However, Li's vision was very blurry, so he couldn't see clearly for the time being. He decided to cultivate and recover first. Within his soul realm, the Shadow Devil demon spirit and the Fang Panda were constantly getting stronger. As expected of the heavenly sacred border, Li can feel that the two demon spirits in his soul realm are constantly getting stronger. Their cultivation speed is extremely shocking. At this moment, an old voice exclaimed in the depths of Li's consciousness, "Brat, how can your soul realm integrate two demon spirits?" "Who are you?" Li asked back, while constantly consolidating his cultivation and increasing his soul force. He could feel a drifting soul spying on him. However, this soul couldn't threaten him, so Nieli didn't care. "Haha, answer my question first, and I'll tell you who I am. Because I'm practicing a special cultivation technique. Is this okay?" Nieli calmly said. "And what kind of cultivation technique is so magical?" This is already the second question, right? Nieli rolled his eyes, constantly asking others questions, but not answering the other party's question. This doesn't seem too polite. The old voice laughed involuntarily and said, "You brat, you're really hard to deal with. I've been sleeping in this heavenly sacred border for hundreds of years. Although I've met some geniuses with pretty good talent, they couldn't enter this old man's eyes. You and that little girl over there have pretty good talent, but your talent is even better. Today, I've taken a fancy to you. This old man will accept you as my disciple." "You're accepting me as your disciple? Did I say that I want you to be my disciple?" Nieli said in disdain. "My master? Who are you? Can you teach me? If anyone wants to be my master, then wouldn't I have a lot of masters? Brett, do you know who I am?" The old voice proudly said, "Who are you?" Li asked with a little contempt. After the age of darkness descended, us 5 legend, rank, demon, spiritualists brought hundreds of thousands of survivors and migrated to Glory City. Furthermore, we resisted the attacks of the demon beast horde. I'm one of the 5 ancestral ancestors of Glory City, ancestral founder Yi Yen, the founder of the Snowwind family. Brat, After hearing my name, you must be scared, right? The old voice sounded a little proud. I sealed my soul in the heavenly sacred border and have been protecting Glory City. If it wasn't for me, Glory City would have fallen long ago. So, it's one of the 5 legend rank ancestors. Nieli suddenly understood, slightly cupped his hands. I've been disrespectful. However, Lord Ancestral Founder, I'm not interested in becoming your disciple. Not interested. You're actually not interested in becoming my disciple? Yi Yen was furious. Brat, do you know how good of an opportunity you're giving up? With my guidance, you can become a legend rank demon spiritualist in your lifetime. At the very least, you can become a black gold rank demon spiritualist. I don't need you to be my disciple. I can also become a legend rank demon spiritualist. Nieli mumbled. Although I respect you as the ancestral founder of Glory City, I don't have to be your disciple. You are simply arrogant. Do you think it's that easy to become a legend rank demon spiritualist? Legend rank demon spiritualist is the pinnacle existence in this continent. Aside from geniuses with extraordinary talent, ordinary people will never be able to touch that realm. If Yi Yen was still alive, his lungs would probably explode from anger. As a legend rank demon spiritualist, he wanted to take Nieli as his disciple, but was actually rejected by Nieli. This is simply intolerable. Do you know how many people begged their grandparents to become my disciple? All right. Nieli was depressed. Lord Ancestral Founder, since you want to be my master, then tell me, what are you going to teach me? As a legend rank demon spiritualist, there's nothing that I don't know about in this continent. I'm proficient in astronomy, geography, calculation, inscription patterns, and I also have a few extremely powerful inherited cultivation techniques. I can also give you pointers on the cultivation of demon spirit combat techniques. Yi Yen proudly said, feeling very proud. You have 5 powerful legacy cultivation techniques here. You can choose one to practice. In front of Nieli's eyes, a dazzling light suddenly appeared. 5 light figures appeared. On top of them were 5 books. Let me see what powerful cultivation techniques you have. Nieli's gaze fell onto the 5 books. What? You still have the cheek to take out the wood conversion spiritual art? You can only be a black gold rank demon spiritualist in the end, right? That cultivation technique is simply full of mistakes. In the 3rd chapter, you actually need to circulate your soul force into the heavens pivot point. Isn't this destroying your own future? The heavens pivot point is used to communicate with heaven and earth. I took this cultivation technique by mistake. Yi Yen looked a little embarrassed, only to see one of the books disappear. Let me take a look at this one. I'm going to vomit. Yang Spirit Cultivation Technique. The training speed of this cultivation technique is so slow. You still need to find a place with the sun to train. If it's cloudy, you won't be able to train. Even if you reach legend, rank demon spiritualist, you'll probably be in your 70s or 80s by then. Furthermore, I don't even need to say anything about that cultivation technique. Changing the red sun into a yin and yang state, the training speed will definitely be 3 times faster. Yi Yen pondered for a while. He felt that what Nieli said made some profound sense. He was choked and didn't know what to say. Let me take a look at this one. Isn't this the Ash Wolf cultivation technique? To fuse with a wolf-type demon spirit's cultivation technique, you can indeed reach legend, rank demon spiritualist realm. How is it? Do you like this cultivation technique? Yi Yen asked with a hint of joy. Practice this cultivation technique? I say, Lord Ancestor, why is your Ash Wolf cultivation technique only 9 chapters? It'll be over once you reach 3-star legend, rank demon spiritualist. I also have the Ash Wolf cultivation technique here. Do you want me to give you the 10th chapter? I guarantee that you'll be able to reach 5-star legend, rank, demon, spiritualist realm. Nieli said. Ah. Yi Yan was speechless. He's simply going crazy. Just where did this kid come from? He actually wants to teach him a cultivation technique? Over the years, Yi Yan has seen geniuses. Even if there aren't tens of thousands, there are still thousands. They're all at the peak of Glory City. However, he has never seen someone as monstrous as Nieli. The 5 cultivation techniques that he gave Yi Yan are already very powerful top-tier cultivation techniques. However, in Nieli's eyes, they're worthless. Yi Yan couldn't understand. How old is Nieli? How can his knowledge be so profound? It's even more shocking than an old demon that has lived for thousands of years. Chapter 99. Lord Founder, these 5 cultivation techniques are too lousy. You only learnt these cultivation techniques? No wonder your cultivation was so lousy when you were alive, only reaching legend rank. Why don't I teach you a few super cultivation techniques? I guarantee that your cultivation will improve by another level. Nieli patted his chest and said, I have a total of 3,600 super cultivation techniques. Even the worst is better than these 5. If it's too lousy, I'll be embarrassed to teach you. All right, that's enough. Yi Yan angrily said. Nieli really didn't give him any face. Doesn't he know that he's the founder of Glory City? Brat, I don't know where you got so many cultivation techniques. Maybe you opened some kind of treasure. Even if you have super powerful cultivation techniques, as a legend, rank, demon spiritualist, I can still give you a lot of advice on the path of cultivation. My knowledge is something that you can't imagine. Oh, the knowledgeable Lord Founder. I would like to ask, why can demon spirits fuse with the soul realm? Nieli looked at Yi Yan and asked, TSK, is Yi Yan going to compete with me in terms of knowledge? It's such a simple question. Didn't your teacher teach you? Demon spirits exist in the form of a soul, and the soul realm is the soul's container. Of course it can be fused. Yi Yan faintly smiled and said, although your talent is not bad, your foundation is too lousy. Young people shouldn't bite off more than they can chew. Since the soul realm is the container and the demon spirit is the soul, it's like a cup and water. Then why do some people fail to fuse with their demon spirit after reaching silver rank? Nieli chuckled and asked, speaking of which, as long as it's a cup, it can hold water. The probability of failure is very low, almost negligible. Therefore, there's no need to bother about this question. Yi Yan paused for a moment and said with a little vexation, Nieli's question was too obscure, he couldn't answer it. These exceptions, after research, are often the key to unlocking the secret. A legend, rank, demon spiritualist actually doesn't know about this. I really don't know how your teacher taught you. If I had such a disciple, I would definitely slap him to death. Nieli shook his head with a look of regret. Then why do you think this is? Yi Yan's voice was trembling from anger. As a legend, rank, demon spiritualist, when has he ever been scolded like this? The soul realm has a fixed attribute, and so does the demon spirit. If the difference between the 2 attributes is too great, it will naturally lead to failure. It's like fire and water are incompatible. Attribute difference. Yi Yan muttered to himself. In the past, he had never considered this aspect, but Nieli's words seemed to have opened a window in his heart. Aside from the difference in attributes, there are many profound secrets in the depths of a human's soul realm. A demon spiritualist of your level would naturally not understand them. If you're willing to take me as your teacher, I might be able to explain it to you. Your soul hasn't dissipated yet, and I might even be able to help you reconstruct your physical body. Nieli sat cross-legged with a slight smile on his face. Become Nieli's disciple? Yi Yan almost came back to life from anger. He's the founder of Glory City. Being looked down upon by a brat like this was simply intolerable. However, Nieli's last sentence caused him to be dumbfounded. Reconstruct my physical body. Can this really be done? Yi Yan was stunned. This was already a realm that he couldn't imagine. Just where did this young man come from? Why does he know so much? As the founder of Glory City, if he wanted to take in a teenager as his disciple, wouldn't they have to kneel and kowtow to him? How would they be like Niali, who taught him a lesson? Although he was angered to the point of vomiting blood, everything that Niali said was like a magnet that deeply attracted him. What Niali said was indeed something that he didn't know. "Brat, you really want me to take you as my teacher?" "Take me as your teacher? Let me think about it." "Forget it, I don't want it. I'm too lazy to teach a disciple with such a poor talent." Niali snorted in disdain. "If my disciple is 100 years old and still in legend rank, and is still so proud of himself, see if I don't whip him to death." Yi Yan pointed at Niali, trembling. You unfilial descendant." Yi Yan was angered to the point that his beard was trembling. Even if he were to come back to life, he would still be angered to death by Niali. "I'm not a descendant of your Yi family. I'm a descendant of the Tensei family. In terms of family history, the Tensei family is much older than your Yi family. If it weren't for the fact that you're Zion's founder, I wouldn't even bother with you." Niali curled his lips in disdain. Yi Yan was angered. However, he's only in a soul state, so he can't do anything to Niali. "Tensei family, I remember now. When I established Glory City, the Tensei family was only a small family. I admit that your founder is indeed very powerful. It seems that you've obtained some of your family's inheritance. However, you've only obtained a little bit of inheritance, yet you dare to be so arrogant." Although Yi Yan has to admit that Niali does no more than him, he still won't admit defeat, losing to a 13 to 14-year-old kid. Where would he put his face as a legend, rank demon spiritualist? Humph. Yi Yan no longer spoke. Since that old man didn't come to bother him, Niali naturally wouldn't take the initiative to talk to Yi Yan. Niali continued to cultivate. Waves of majestic soul force constantly surrounded Niali. After circulating the heavenly god cultivation technique, the two demon spirits in his soul realm were like sponges, constantly absorbing the soul force, constantly growing stronger. Yi Yan's soul floated around Niali. Although he was angered by Niali when Niali started to circulate his cultivation technique, he couldn't help watching. Waves of soul force surged. This cultivation technique doesn't look like a silver rank demon spiritualist, but more like a legend rank demon spiritualist's cultivation. Yi Yan glanced at Xiaoning, who was far away, and inwardly pondered. No matter if it's this kid or that girl, their cultivation techniques are too frightening. They're already so monstrous at such a young age. Could it be that after not going out for so many years, the outside world has already changed? Compared to Niali's heavenly god cultivation technique, the 5 cultivation techniques that Yi Yan just took out are indeed too trashy. Although the cultivation speed of the heavenly god cultivation technique was a bit slower compared to the lightning winged dragon technique and the 9 revolving ice phoenix technique, it was tens of times faster than the 5 cultivation techniques that Yi Yan had used earlier. The two of them were on completely different levels. With a thought, Yi Yan moved to Xiaoning. "Little girl, this old man can see that you're talented. Why don't this old man take you as a disciple?" Hearing Yi Yan's voice, Xiaoning was slightly stunned. She immediately asked, "May I ask who Senior is?" "I'm the founder of Glory City, the founder of the Snow Wind family, Yi Yan." Yi Yan proudly said. "So it's Lord Founder." Xiaoning, from the Winged Dragon family greets. "Lord Founder." Xiaoning, immediately revealed a respectful expression. She's naturally full of respect towards the experts in Glory City's history. Yi Yan stroked his beard and lightly smiled. "Not bad, not bad. You're worth teaching. This is more like a daughter of a normal family. Someone like Nye Li is simply too abnormal. I've been in this heavenly sacred border for 1,000 years. I wonder how the outside world is now. Lord Founder, Glory City is still safe and sound. How many legend, rank, demon spiritualists are there in Glory City? Replying to Lord Founder, Glory City only has one legend, rank, demon spiritualist, Lord Yi Mo. Xiao Ning respectfully said. How could this be? Yi Yen frowned his brows. He felt that this matter is a little fishy. No matter if it's Xiao Ning or Nieli, the cultivation techniques that they practice are frighteningly powerful. It's simply shocking. Logically speaking, with such powerful cultivation techniques, it's impossible for Yi Mo to be the only legend, rank, demon spiritualist. Is there a problem? Xiao Ning curiously asked. Nothing. Little girl, let me have a look at your cultivation technique. Who knows? I might be able to give you some pointers, Yi Yen said. After finishing his words, his face turned red. This Xiao Ning fell into hesitation.